Lockhart followed his block, great patience, cuts inside, he's still on his feet. Lockhart, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Flea flicker there, wide open is Richardson. He's got it, and he's got the touchdown. John Paulhead rolls right, throwing on the run, wide open. Brady Johnson, and that's a touchdown. Right at 37, it is up. It's good. Carter Shirley throws it, Richardson, touchdown. Smith back in at quarterback, and there is number 6. Number 4 with number 6. Throws it deep, Richardson, he's got it again. Have a night, Keon Richardson on the touchdown pass for Paulhead.
We just need to get through this one and secure our playoff spot and go from there.
It's a screen, there's nobody around. Tonsmeyer there, 2 blockers on 1, that's an easy touchdown. 45-40. There's Lockhart, secondary, sprinting down the sideline. There's a touchdown. On cue to the senior, John Freelow.
Really the message of the week was, guys, create a memory, create a moment. You can have all the stuff in the world, but it's hard to replicate these guys celebrating with their friends and doing something that hadn't been done in their entirety of their high school career. But that's a special group of seniors, and I'm so happy for them and their family to be able to experience the triumph and the tragedy of playoff football, because there's nothing else like it.
Welcome into Vestavia Hills football, living out of a suitcase for Game 10 tonight. The final game of the regular season, the Helena Huskies against the Vestavia Hills Rebels. The Huskies trending downward and the Rebels are trending upward, heading to the playoffs after last week. Hello, everybody. Scott Griffin, Chad Pilcher here. B.J. Miller going to be along a little bit shortly. The way this team is playing and starting football games of late has just been spectacular.
Yeah, and it really indicates how they played this entire season. Started a little slow in the season, got really hot, and when they got hot, they have gotten hot. The offense, the way that they played these last few weeks, is something I would put it up with any offense in the state right now with the way they're clicking. The defense has come along as well, and this Vestavia football team is playing well at the right time of year.
The numbers show that Vestavia's offense, as Chad was pointing out, close to 400 yards, giving up less than 300. That gap is widening. The scoring is 33 points to 19, and you consider Vestavia's defense giving up 19 with all the possessions that they have to defend.
Yeah, they do, and it's very quickly that they get back on the field, and they're getting stronger. They're trying to get healthier. They had a little lull in the season where they had some injured players, but everything is starting to click correctly for Vestavia. I think the challenge tonight is this game on paper doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything for your playoff spot for either team. Vestavia is in the playoffs. Helena is out of the playoffs. Which team's going to show up tonight with the most hunger and fight, ready to play?
And frankly, Helena has kind of, I don't want to say they've mailed it in, but has been disinterested. Robert Evans told us last night, Vestavia's kind of been disinterested. They're in the playoffs. It is a meaningless game. But to me, if you got a chance to get your 6th win and guarantee a winning record, that's something to play for.
That's a big deal. And when you look at it years down the road, 6-4 is a lot different than 5-5. Not only that, once you get into the playoffs, unless you run the table, you're going to lose at some point. So where does that record end up? I think this game is big. I think it's the natural tendency for 15 to 18-year-old kids to say, it's not that big a deal. I'm ready for the next week, which they should be. But at the same time, Coach Evans worked really hard to get them focused, get them ready. I think we'll see them play a solid game tonight.
They'll end with a winning record regardless what happens from this on out. Let's take a look at the schedule, and you'll see how it began as you go along. And again, the last several weeks has been absolutely terrific with the scoring and the different things there. And of course, Vestavia 5-4 on the years. You see, we take a look at the region schedule tonight, and you'll see County High against Brookwood, a lot of kind of games like we're playing. Spain Park Pelham, we're of course here. Thompson is in a bye week. They're like Trustful. They take off for week 10. So does Oak Mountain and everybody else. And then finally we go to the region standings. And how does that look, Chad? Vestavia, number 4, heading to the playoffs with a 4-3 region record. So that looks really good. We'll play Austin next week. but we need to take care of business tonight.
Yeah, it's easy to look ahead, to know what's sitting before us. And we'll talk about that as the night goes on. The big game is next week. But tonight is about finishing the season, about keeping everyone healthy, and then about hopefully, if you take care of business, getting a lot of people opportunities to play.
Let's bring in B.J. Milliken, our sideline reporter, as well. And I tell you what, Jordan Ross picked up another offer this week, Southern Cal, and last week you pointed out, or a couple of weeks ago, Clemson was in town. They just keep pouring in.
They do. And, I texted Jordan after he got that offer, and he said he was not expecting one from that far out west. He's a Southern guy, so who knows? Maybe that's a cool thing to go all the way to Los Angeles to play your football. Who knows? But he's definitely got plenty of offers, plenty of opportunities for him, and those will just keep rolling in. Starting, he's just a junior, so he'll be getting plenty of offers coming up.
That won't be the last one.
No.
For sure. Jacob Watson out tonight, and they're going to try to get him 100% healthy if they can, or as close to it as they can, for next week against Austin. So Wheeler Smith should step in to the defensive tackle position. If you're looking for things, Helena has a big offensive line. They haven't played well. As you know, Vestavia Hills' defensive line has really played well. Even without Jacob Watson, that's still one of the strengths of this team.
Well, Jordan Ross sets the tone, but other guys have stepped up as well. And it seems like every single week you got a different guy making a big play. There's not a lot of depth there. We've been saying that since week one. There's not a lot of depth, but there's some guys with great motors that play good technique. They're in the right spot, and they're consistently making plays.
So 10 of the 11 starters defensively will be seniors tonight. So this will mean something on the final game. You agree with what we're talking about? 6 wins would be nice?
Oh, definitely. When you look at it on paper, like Chad said, when you look back and you can say, we finished with a winning record our last year. Not only did we make the playoffs, we finished with a winning record. And, I talked to John Paul Head earlier this week, and he was saying how excited he was for the seniors that they're going to go out in the playoffs. But he also mentioned that having that momentum of winning 3 games in a row going into the playoffs is huge for them just from a mental standpoint. So he thinks that this game is big. I don't know if his teammates all agree with him, but, he's the leader. So maybe he's been able to kind of encourage them this week to understand that this is a big deal, not just for tonight. Even though it technically doesn't matter,
right,
it's a big deal for momentum.
It matters, but it doesn't matter.
It does.
Okay. So, all right, we'll take a break, come back. We do not have a coach's show this week because of the bad weather that came on, but we're going to play B.J. Milliken's interview with Robert Evans after the game last week, kind of get some thoughts on that. So that's coming up next. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. We see it beginning in the Old Testament in the Pentateuch. God continues to renew that call over and over and over again to the people. And so it's an absolute certainty that God has called the church to be the vehicle to minister to orphan and vulnerable children. We provide for the church what the church is not prepared to provide for herself. And Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization to allow the church to live out the mission that the church has been given to proclaim the gospel through orphan care.
We're building on-time service to become Alabama's most trusted company. With air conditioning technicians, plumbers, electricians, and appliance repairmen you can trust. Technicians who won't try to sell you things you don't need, who are honest in figuring out the problem and repairing it, and are backed by the on-time service satisfaction guarantee. You can trust the on-time service technician to do the right thing.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Alabama. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the AHSAA.
Coach, big win when they had to have it. How's it feel to be going to the playoffs?
It feels awesome. It feels like it's been a sprint since January the 15th or whenever we got to get the board up. But this is totally a community deal. It really is. It has nothing to do with me or our coaching staff. We had so much support and so many people pushing in the right direction. And I lucked into 42 great seniors. When you have that many seniors and that many quality players, you'd be hard-pressed. They just would not be denied. You know, we played sloppy in the first half. It was obvious early on that our guys were ready to play. It was real emotional before the game. I got emotional with those seniors, with their parents, just thankful family. And really the message of the week was, guys, create a memory, create a moment. You can have all the stuff in the world, but it's hard to replicate these guys celebrating with their friends and doing something that hadn't been done in their entirety of their high school career. They hadn't been in the playoffs. The varsity hadn't been in the playoffs in 4 years. They've had good teams. It's hard. It's a great accomplishment in this region to make it. We don't take it lightly and for granted. And gave them the weekend off and be on a short week next week, and can't wait to get up to Austin in 2 weeks and see if we can advance to the second round.
What makes a group like this special, especially the seniors especially, been through 3 coaches? What makes this group so special?
Yeah, well, I mean, to some degree, you know, you got to credit Coach Anderson as well, because, I mean, the foundation of this team, those sophomores, they were sophomores his last year and went through a lot with the COVID year and then the coaching transition. But that's a special group of seniors, and I'm so happy for them and their family to be able to experience the triumph and the tragedy of playoff football, because there's nothing else like it. This was kind of like a death match, and we made it ugly, or it got out of hand, and the second half was boring and all that stuff. But to be able for them to experience the heartache and hopefully the triumphs of the playoffs, and to play in big-time atmospheres, if we're healthy and we're fresh, which we will be, watch out.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations.
No doubt.
When the on-time service technician arrives in your home, you give us an amazing opportunity. The opportunity to earn your trust, to arrive at your home on time, to fix the problem in your home, and to never sell you something you don't need. When the job is done and the technician leaves, I want you to be really pleased with the work. And I want something more. I want you to say to yourself, I trust that guy.
We start each day at Birmingham Fastener with the same core values in mind: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're looking for talented people to join our sales and manufacturing teams. As one of the nation's leading manufacturers, we have over 10 locations across the country and endless opportunities to grow and succeed alongside incredible teammates. Become the future of American manufacturing and help build our nation's infrastructure one bolt at a time here at Birmingham Fastener.
Dr. Melanie Petro has a simple philosophy.
I love to see them look in the mirror and see themselves several years ago. It reconnects them with who they are.
Dr. Petro is double board certified and fellowship trained to help you see you again.
When you see yourself again, all of a sudden you're not just reconnected with your face, you're reconnected with yourself, and it gives you a confidence.
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools like Restoration Academy. It's a no-brainer. For more information, go to choosera.org.
Welcome back to the Rebel Nation Network. Scott Griffin and Chad Pilcher here. The Huskies against the Vestavia Hills Rebels. The Rebels 5-4, looking to get that 6th win so they can guarantee themselves a winning record. But as we've talked about, next week is the playoffs against Austin. It's on the road. obviously you don't want injuries. You want to be fresh. You'd like to win, right, to go into it. So it's kind of a balancing act here mentally with your team. You want them to go all out and play, but don't go nuts or something.
Well, and what you realize is the kids just naturally are focused on the next week. They know what's ahead of them. They're focused on that. I think for what you have to do from a coaching standpoint is you try to get them to focus on this week, the next play, the next quarter. From a player's standpoint, what you have to do is just come out and play. You can't think about next week or, hey, I might get hurt or this might happen. Nothing you can do about it. The way you're going to get hurt is if you don't go 100%, if you don't go full speed, if you don't execute the way that you know how to execute. So I think from a player's standpoint, you come out, you run the offense, you run the defense, you play the game as it unfolds, and then hopefully from a big picture standpoint, Vestavia can get one of those big leads like they've gotten earlier in the last few weeks, get some guys out. I think one thing you will see tonight, if anyone has even a semblance of an injury, they're going to come out of this game. If you even just sort of tweak an ankle or something sort of cramps, you're coming out of this game. And so that's probably the difference, whereas if you're in the next week, you hurt an ankle, you're going to keep fighting through that. This week, you don't want to fight through anything. If you feel any type of tweak, you're coming out.
Hopefully when the kickoff happens and you get hit and you just kind of forget about all that and start going with the flow. Let's take a look at the series. There hasn't been a lot, and this is a home and home. Next year, Helena will come to Thompson Reynolds Stadium and Buddy Anderson Field, of course. It's only 2-0, and Vestavia's won both of them, so not a lot to go on here. But, proximity-wise, it's fairly close.
I like this matchup. This is a school that opened in 2014. They've done a pretty good job. They've made the playoffs 4 or 5 times since they've begun. They've got a very nice facility here, a great facility to play on. So I think this is a good matchup. It's a good measuring stick. It's a 6A program, so you're stepping down in classification, but you're going to have to bring it. This is a Helena team that at times has looked very good. The last 2 weeks, they've not played as well.
Yeah, they have weapons. They have running backs that are getting looked at, quarterbacks talented, and some pretty good defenders as well. We'll take another break. We'll come back. We'll have the toss of the coin, and we'll figure out who's going to receive the kick. You're watching the Rebel Nation Network. Vestavia and Helena coming up at the top of the hour.
When the on-time service technician arrives in your home, you give us an amazing opportunity. The opportunity to earn your trust, to arrive at your home on time, to fix the problem in your home, and to never sell you something you don't need. When the job is done and the technician leaves, I want you to be really pleased with the work. And I want something more. I want you to say to yourself, I trust that guy.
We start each day at Birmingham Fastener with the same core values in mind: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're looking for talented people to join our sales and manufacturing teams. As one of the nation's leading manufacturers, we have over 10 locations across the country and endless opportunities to grow and succeed alongside incredible teammates. Become the future of American manufacturing and help build our nation's infrastructure one bolt at a time here at Birmingham Fastener.
Dr. Melanie Petro has a simple philosophy.
I love to see them look in the mirror and see themselves several years ago. It reconnects them with who they are.
Dr. Petro is double board certified and fellowship trained to help you see you again.
When you see yourself again, all of a sudden you're not just reconnected with your face, you're reconnected with yourself, and it gives you a confidence.
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools like Restoration Academy. It's a no-brainer. For more information, go to choosera.org.
Welcome back to the Rebel Nation Sports Network. Scott Griffin, Chad Pilcher, and B.J. Milliken. We're pleased that you're with us for the final road game of the year. And, again, a game that I want to win it. I want to get 6 wins. I don't know about you, but we need to get this win and then get ready for the playoffs. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups.
Dumplehead, junior quarterback. William Tonsmeyer, sophomore running back. Tucker Smitha, senior, running back.
Kerry Richardson, junior receiver. Cooper Mollison, junior, wide receiver.
Brady Johnson, senior, wide receiver.
Jaden Daniels, junior, receiver.
Hudson Hager, senior, offensive line.
Jack McMurray, senior, offensive line.
Rick Smith-Allen, senior, O-line.
J.D. Livingston, sophomore, O-line.
Glenn Porter, senior, offensive line.
Warren Ainsworth, senior, tight end.
Wheeler Smith, senior, D-line.
Andrew Sykes, senior, defensive end.
Blaine Wisenhunt, senior, defensive tackle.
Jordan Ross, junior, DN.
Samuel Hanson, senior, linebacker.
Gaines Johnson, senior, linebacker.
Houston Owen, senior, linebacker.
John Martin Richter, senior, safety.
Michael Dobbs, senior, safety.
Will Cox, senior, safety.
Grant Downey, senior, cornerback.
Owen Nelson, junior, cornerback.
Robert Evans, head football coach, Vestavia. Welcome to tonight's game. Go Rebels.
All right, that is the starting lineups for tonight. Good look at the Helena field. And we are set up down near the visitors' sidelines, but still a gorgeous night for football. Great weather. Had a great sunset up here with the setting in Helena and a good crowd on hand. A lot of Vestavia people. That's the Vestavia crowd there. And, of course, the Helena crowd here for the final game of the season. So we're waiting on the officials and the coin toss to come out, and we'll get ready for that. Boy, I feel like we're in a hurry all the time, Chad. Now I feel like I'm trying to run out the clock. What's going on here?
Well, this is certainly a different feel. First time we've been, I guess, behind the bleachers to call a game. So, folks, if we takes us a second to get a number or get something a little bit right, just bear with us tonight. We're not in our normal setup, but we'll do our best and give you hopefully a good product to watch. I think what's going to be really interesting to me tonight is how does Helena come out for tonight? We talked about Vestavia and trying to find motivation when you know you're already in the playoffs. But for Vestavia, you're already in the playoffs. You know that you're playing next week. For Helena, you know that it's done. There's nothing you can do to change the outcome of your season. You have 60 minutes left. Now, that can go one of two ways. If I'm a senior and I play for Helena, I'm very focused tonight. I know this may be, for most of them, the last time they will ever play football in their entire lives. So it's a big deal. On the flip side, if you're an underclassman or maybe just a guy who feels like it's been a long season, it's very easy to just throw in the towel and maybe not give your best effort. So we'll see how that turns out as this game begins. I think one way that Vestavia could influence that is to come out and have a strong first couple of drives. Maybe run the ball downhill, get a good push, get some good efforts, and put some points on the board early. You can really dictate what happens for the rest of the game. So I think that's going to be the focus for Vestavia, regardless of what this game means or matters. Come out, give me your best effort on these first few drives, and maybe you can take advantage and put this game away early. Keeping in mind that last week, Helena played Benjamin Russell, and that's a game that they ultimately lost 49-7, but they trailed 41-0 early in the third quarter. So it was a game that absolutely was dominated by Benjamin Russell. The final score is 47-14, but Benjamin Russell jumped out to a 41-0 lead on Helena before Helena put points on the board. So Vestavia would obviously love to replicate that.
And that was a team that Helena had scored over 80 against the last 2 years, and I think they had not even scored 20 on them, and then they come to their home. And that's why Richie Busby's basically told me, and Robert Evans concurred, that, again, you don't want to say the team's given up. I think that's too strong a word. But they're disinterested right now, and what is a coach to do? They're very disappointed they didn't make the playoffs, and it's disinteresting.
Yeah, and if you're a coach and you're talking, again, maybe some of these underclassmen, you're going to coach them next year. Have a chance to really still influence things that happen there. For these seniors, it's the last time out. That's your motivation. If you're a senior and you're playing for Helena, it's your last time out. If you're Vestavia, you're focused on let's get better and get ready for next week, because next week's going to be a challenge as Vestavia will play the number one team on the other side of the bracket. Austin High School, and so
with a brand new stadium. Well, at least 2017.
And a new stadium. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but for those who are maybe not familiar, the way that Alabama does their playoffs in 7A, Region 1 matches up against Region 2. Region 3 matches up against Region 4. Region 3 is the Birmingham area. Region 4 is the North Alabama Huntsville area. Obviously stretches over into Decatur and grabs Austin. So it's very simple. 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. And so that's the matchup. Last year, all 4 Region 3 teams won and advanced to the second round. This Region 3, we've talked about it being kind of the SEC West of high school football. That's what it is. And so last year it lived up to its name, and all 4 teams made the playoffs, or won in that first round of the playoffs.
And we're still waiting on the officials to do the coin toss, and we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll go to that as well. Scott Griffin, Chad Pilcher, B.J. Milliken here, our outstanding crew. John Rocket back with us this week. John Versiglio here, of course. Fletcher Tubbs, B.J. Milliken, Cruz Johnson, Randy Mize, all contributing. Of course, Roger Jackson and Stephen Gill as well on the stats, to giving us the great numbers as well. We always appreciate everybody's work to make this. It's a lot of people.
And actually, probably tonight may be one of those weeks where a lot of people are watching this on replay after it happened, with it being a Thursday night game, with a couple of elementary schools in Vestavia have fall festivals tonight, so a lot of kids have their energies focused and going to the festivals and enjoying those. And so a lot of folks may be watching this on replay, and hopefully you're about to watch a good football game.
Absolutely. So great weather, great crowd, and we just got to hope we have a good football game and the Rebels get out of here with a win, again, to go 6-4 on the year. Then it doesn't matter what happens after that. Of course, we'd like to win a couple of there in the state playoffs, or as many as we can. But at least we'd be guaranteed a winning record, and Chad and I agree that's a big deal. There's the captains tonight. John Paul Head. Looks like Will Cox there. Also Jimmy Moxley and Sam Hansen. I wanted to say Smitha, but he's 46. So Hansen, who's the leading tackler on the team, is also right there and ready to go. You like the all-white duds, do you?
I like the all-white, yeah. I like, if you go all white, you got to go all white. You got to have some other white if you're going to wear that helmet. I like it. Looks nice. You see the guys with the pink wrist tape. We got a lot of people in the stands with the pink for breast cancer awareness, so that's obviously a big deal around all levels of football in the month of October. So the guys wearing that tonight here on the road.
All right, the Rebels getting ready to walk it off. Let's turn up the volume and see what they have to say at midfield.
Good luck to you tonight, baby. All right, guys. You're my brother. You're my home. That's my tails. That's my tails. What do you want? You said you want his heads, right? I'm going to flip it. If I drop it, pick it up and do it again, all right? You ready? Ready? Here we go. You gonna do it? I can get you to bag up because I'm trying to duck around.
DJ's messing up the coin toss.
There it is. Okay. You want? You want some ball?
All right, Beach, what do we have?
Vestavia won the toss.
After BJ messed up the coin toss.
I did.
So
that's on me.
All right. So Vestavia will receive, and we'll have all that going on as well. So, Helena, as you can see in the black helmets, black jerseys, and the silver pants, Vestavia in the all-white. Chad likes that rockin' look. White pants with the red and blue stripes. The red and blue stripe down the middle of the helmet, the VH on one side, the number on the other. That's what I like. And then, of course, that Ole Miss piping. That's what you like on the shoulders.
Well, and I still go back to week 1 when everybody was shocked because Vestavia came out with any type of logo on the helmet, which was something new. They'd had the plain red helmet for so many years. Came out in the red helmets with the VH and the number, and then a few weeks later they come out with the all-white, and here come your Rebels.
The Rebels are hitting the field. Fletcher Tubbs running with them as they run to the sideline again. 5-4 on the year, and we hope to have a good one tonight. And there come the Huskies on their end to come out, and the teams may be disinterested, but there's a lot of people here, a few thousand, that are kind of interested in this one.
It's a great crowd. This is beautiful weather here tonight. Just awesome football weather, and a great opportunity to make some plays and have a good night and enjoy some high school football.
All right, so Vestavia will receive against the Helena defense, which has got some pretty good players on there. Xavier Guy, Matthew Thompson, Eli Ray, Kellen Hughes. There's some pretty good players on that side for the Huskies. John Paul Head will come out, and you know, he's missed a game, Chad, but he's got over 2,000 yards, and he's got 29 touchdowns on the year. So if he gets a touchdown tonight, that'll be 30, and that's missing a football game.
Yeah, just incredible year by John Paul Head. You talked about it. Once he had that injury, took a little bit of a step back with his passing. Maybe got out of rhythm when he had that time off. But, man, I'll tell you, last week was the best I've seen him throw the football all season long. And it feels like he, like this team, is peaking at the right time. And I think those two things go together. If John Paul Head is really good, Vestavia is really good. And that's what's going to carry them as they make a push through the playoffs.
So, ready to kick it off. And a little short kick out of bounds. So Vestavia will get it with the flag down and get a good field position for this first drive.
Yeah, not a great kick to start the game by Helena. And look for Vestavia to come out fast, up tempo. We were talking to some folks before the game, and they're, hey, will you slow it down a little bit? That's not what's going to happen here in this first drive. It's going to be full speed, fast-paced. You're going to see John Paul Head running the ball. I think they may take a couple of shots early, try to see if you can't get something down the field. Last week, Keon Richardson had 3 catches. All 3 went for touchdowns.
So here come the Vestavia Rebels. Huskies actually disciplined on that movement that normally draws everybody off sides. There's John Paul Head running straight up the middle. 35-30. And he is still trying to be rambled out of bounds at the 28. At the Royal replay and a Royal Automotive first down, and there is Tonsmeyer around the left end. And he gets a good chunk of yardage. And here come the Rebels again.
Very quickly, get it to Tonsmeyer, get to the outside. Vestavia back to the line.
It looks like they're hardly going to be set. Tonsmeyer right in. Still trying to get around there, and this time thrown down by Desmond James.
Nice block there.
I'm sorry, rocking the pink. Go ahead.
Yeah, nice block there on the edge by Tucker Smitha, which allowed Tonsmeyer to get underneath him and pick up that nice gain.
Head takes it out of Lockhart's belly, and he goes in for the touchdown. Well, did he get in the score? Nope. He got inside the 1. So it faked out our camera guy, Lockhart. He pulled it out of his belly, and that was the right call.
Good read by John Paul Head. Gets tackled just short of the goal line.
And there's the touchdown again by Lockhart. Lockhart goes in for the touchdown. And the Rebels are on top 6-0. So a good drive keyed by John Paul Head's 37-yard run.
Yeah, didn't put it in the air, simply stayed on the ground running the football. Just perfect execution by the Rebels.
All right, so actually they're going to go for 2 here. And they throw it up wide open, and there's a touchdown. As the Rebels, John Paul Head throws it to Charlie Ingram for the score. So the Rebels go up 8-0. We'll take a break. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network. Welcome back to the Rebel Nation Sports Network. Scott Griffith, Chad Pilcher, BJ Milliken, our great crew here. Vestavia starts again. The 4th or 5th week in a row. They start quick. Let's see if it continues as Carter Shirley kicks it off. They've been good on kickoff coverage of late, and that's not a bad deal there, as Cross Tonsmeyer, or is that Bruno Grayson probably, the backup linebacker, with that special teams tackle.
And that return for Helena was by Hunter Hale, and he's a guy you're going to, for Helena to be good, he has to be good. He's going to play receiver. He's going to be in the slot. He's going to play defense. He is a guy who's going to return kicks, return punts. He had a punt return for a touchdown earlier this season. He's a playmaker for Helena. He's someone that the Rebels have to keep their eye on.
All right, so here come the Huskies again. And timeout on the field. The referees have blown it dead for a second. And I don't know if there's a jersey problem or 34 has to go out.
That's
Jordan
their best
Washington.
running back. He didn't have his knee pads down far enough.
Oh,
so
A.J. Horsted comes in for him. Wow. Interesting call there. And there is Horsted as he runs it in.
Yeah, and one thing, we talked about Hale. He's an outstanding receiver. They're going to get him the ball. But Helena has two very good running backs. A.J. Horsted, who you saw there, Jordan Washington, who was supposed to start the game but had to go off because of the knee pad issue, is receiving looks from a group of 5 schools. So he's a guy that's well thought of in the recruiting ranks.
So there's a swing out pass for the Huskies, and they're very close to first down territory.
So Helena comes out nicely with a couple of nice passes, a good run by Horsted, a nice pass by Hale, has this Vestavia defense a little back on its heels after the first 2 plays.
Second down and 2, handed off. That's Hunter Hale, like you talked about on the outside, and he's got a Royal Automotive first down on that far side. And the Rebels don't look real fired up right now, do they?
No, the offense came out, did their job, very focused, and pushed the Helena defense around. So far, Helena doing the same, but they're going to back them up there. It's a holding call against Helena, so a break for the Rebels. And those are the types of mistakes that Helena cannot afford in this football game. Vestavia comes in with the advantage. It's perceived to be the favorite in this game, so Helena, to have a chance to win the ball game, has to play their best football game. When you get a nice gain, you cannot afford to have those erased by those types of penalties.
Evans getting out there, calling the plays.
He's coaching with an iPad out there.
Yeah. As you see, the Rebels always standing up and shooting gaps and different things. And inside, there's a run by Jordan Washington, who's their normal starter. And he's getting looked at a little bit by some schools, and they got about 7 or 8 on that side.
Yeah, and if Ja'Cory Washington, his offensive lineman, hadn't gotten his way that time, he may have taken that one to the house. Offensive lineman trying to get downfield and block. Instead, he tripped up Washington.
So 3rd down and 5. Llewellyn, the quarterback, Dalton Llewellyn, sacked. Drug down. Houston Owen was in there. And how about Andrew Sykes has played with his hair on fire the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Just picking up right where he left off last week. Again, still nursing a little bit of a knee soreness that he's playing through. Was a little more hurt last week. Feels really good this week, and you could tell it there with that outstanding play, the sack, and Llewellyn trying to dance around and make something happen, but the Vestavia defense was able to corral him and bring him down.
So here come the Huskies punting it. Not a great kick, and it'll bound outside. It looks like about the 7-yard line. So not a great kick at all, and that's where the Rebels will come out and set up shop for their second drive. First drive was a touchdown drive, 8-0. We'll see what they do here.
And that last drive, just everything on the ground, moving, pushing, getting a good push by the Vestavia offensive line.
Tonsmeyer got it. John Paul Head kept it in his belly, and that time he was drugged down for a loss as Hughes, the linebacker, comes up to make that play.
Yeah, and you saw John Paul Head there. It looked like at the last minute he wanted to potentially pull that ball, but Tonsmeyer had clamped down on it already. And so the loss of 2.
Head fakes the pitch, throws it off his back foot, and it was there, but it was hard to see. But it's incomplete there, but it looked a little bit off target, throwing with his weight going backwards a little bit.
He never got his feet set on that. And if he'd had a little bit longer, he might have had a chance to go to his second option, which was Keon Richardson down deep, but never had a chance to get his feet set because of the pressure from Helena.
3rd down and 12. Head rolling, finds a man. That's Brady Johnson, the senior, breaks the tackle down the sidelines and runs out of bounds.
I mean, just a really good pass by John Paul Head, and you just get a whiff here in the secondary from Helena. I mean, had a defender right there, and then just whoop.
I wanted him to lower his shoulder and keep going.
He didn't have to, just ran right past him.
So, 1st down and 10 for the Rebels. Ball fake to Tonsmeyer. This time Head thrown down, and that should not be a fumble.
He was on the ground. He was on the ground.
Yeah, the ground caused it, but they're letting it play.
They missed that one.
Derek Wilson threw Head to the ground, and it looked like on the replay, we'll take a look and see, and we'll slow it down for you and see. Yeah, he's on the ground, right? You don't think so? You're not convinced?
Well, it happened a little fast. I thought in live motion he definitely looked down.
I don't know. Well,
nonetheless,
they called it on the field, right?
They called it on the field, and that's a tough break for the Rebels.
And that's one thing Vestavia has not been great at this year, negative turnover margin for the year. They've gotten better the last few weeks, but they had one awkward game 2 or 3 weeks ago where they had several turnovers in the first half, and the numbers skewed, right?
Last week, 2 fumbles in that first quarter, or that score would have gotten out of hand even more quickly. That call is wrong. Vestavia shifted sideways. The Helena left tackle jumped, and they called offsides on Vestavia.
You can move all you want.
That's just a bad call.
Yeah, you can jump.
I think the one before looked like he was down. I mean, that one was just wrong.
There's Washington still on his feet. Will Cox trying to tackle him. Not many people interested in hitting him. No. Finally, Richter has to chase him out of bounds after a long game.
We talked about would the players be ready to play. The refs are not here and ready to play. I mean, that's one questionable call and one wrong call that the officials made on back-to-back plays.
So that's a 32-yard run for Washington. And now they're on the Vestavia 28-yard line, leading 8-0. So Llewellyn trying to get his team set. And now there finally are. Ross and them are coming on a run blitz. And Washington going around the left side, and he gets piled up there after a 3-yard gain. And 2nd down and 7.
Yeah.
Lane Wisenhunt in on that tackle.
To give you an idea about Jordan Washington, he opened the season against Chelsea, had 104 yards on 25 carries. Then he missed a few weeks, was banged up, didn't have a chance to play. He's only been back about week 5 or 6 he came back. But in 2021, last year, rushed for over 1,600 yards and 23 touchdowns. So this is a guy who can carry the rock.
And he does it on the inside there. And look, if you're not interested, he's going to run for 200 yards. Jordan Ross in on that tackle, so it'll be 3rd down about 3. But you don't want them to start having fun, right?
No, and that's the thing is in this type of game, from Vestavia's perspective, the longer you allow the opponent to hang around, the more difficult it is to put them away.
So 3rd down, and we'll call it 4 from the 22. Llewellyn hands it to Washington again, and they'll have the 1st down and more. That's a Royal Automotive 1st down. And as you can tell by the Rebels' body language, there's not a lot of emotion coming out of that football team right now.
No, you would think when you get popped in the mouth by a guy, Jordan's a pretty big guy. He's a 200-plus pound back coming downhill. That would wake you up a little bit. Now is an opportunity, 1st down at the 15-yard line.
Washington getting just hammered over there now. Wheeler Smith, looks like Sykes is in there. And we're calling up off the monitor, so this is a little bit different setup for us. You'll have to be patient with us. But Sykes in on that tackle as well.
Yeah, as the season's progressed, he has continued to get better and better, and really he's peaked these last few weeks as well. Defensively, has been a huge catalyst of this defense.
2nd down and 10. Llewellyn drops, throws it, nowhere near his intended target. So it'll be 3rd down and 10. You want to try to hold them. I don't know if they would kick a field goal, but you certainly want to give them a decision on 4th down if you have to.
Yeah, and that was all about coverage right there. Good job by Wilcox on the intended receiver, but everyone covered up in the secondary. Nowhere for Llewellyn to go with the football. He ultimately just had to throw it away.
3rd down and 10 from the 15. Vestavia with a good 7 or 8 in the box there because they don't mind handing to Washington. They do it again right there. And Richter comes in and drags him out of bounds. Ross is there, helped clean it up as well.
Really good job by Richter, staying to the outside, not allowing Washington to get to the edge. And he's able to force him out of bounds, and they will attempt the field goal.
So they will attempt a field goal. And it'll be 30 yards on this attempt. I'm a little bit surprised by this with your not going for it on 4th down, but they'll put it up, and nice high kick, and it's good. So timeout on the field, 8-3, Vestavia on top of Helena. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Dr. Melanie Petro has a simple philosophy.
I love to see them look in the mirror and see themselves several years ago. It reconnects them with who they are.
Dr. Petro is double board certified and fellowship trained to help you see you again.
When you see yourself again, all of a sudden you're not just reconnected with your face, you're reconnected with yourself, and it gives you a confidence.
Welcome back to Huskies Stadium. Scott Griffin, Chad Pilcher, B.J. Milliken. We'll check in with B.J. right after this kick. And that's Cooper Mollison on the return, and got a little something going on there as he gets to the 40-yard line. Let's go to B.J. Milliken. B.J. doesn't look real energetic, and that was what Robert Evans talked to us last night about with his football team.
Yeah, well, if the team isn't energetic, Coach Evans was energetic. He went right to the official after that field goal and was complaining about the offsides call that Chad pointed out earlier that drive, and he said he didn't really have much to say, but Coach Evans definitely fired up.
Yeah, because it was not offsides because they moved sideways to Chad's point. So Tonsmeyer gets a couple of yards off that right side, so to be 2nd down and 8, and the Rebels would like to answer this, obviously, with a score of their own.
Yeah, and that's a good start to be in front of the sticks on 1st down. Had a loss on the first play of this last drive.
John Paul Hitt gets it, runs up the middle, trying to carry a few Huskies with him, and he'll drag him to about the 47-yard line. Head on the year, 808 yards, 16 touchdowns coming into this football game, and that's missing a game. He'd be going for 1,000 probably in 10 if he hadn't missed a particular football game. But it would be 3rd down and 4.
And he has to run the football effectively for Vestavia to have a chance. And that's what they're going to rely on. You see Helena's loading up the box to try and stop that.
So 3rd down and 4. Fakes it to Lockhart, runs behind his man, got the 1st down and more. Smitha was leading interference, and that was a good play as Head just tucked behind him.
At the very last second, he pulled it out. Did a good job of reading the defense, letting the play develop in front of him before he pulled it and ran, and then did a nice job not only getting the 1st down, but getting down after he picked up the needed yardage.
So Head drops, Throws it over to Lockhart on the little flare pass out in the flats. And again, with our camera placement, it's hard to see with the tents and everything, so we're doing the best we can here on the road. But that's another first down for the Rebels. Lockhart again. Oh, slipped and fell. As you pointed out, he's coming off back-to-back 99-yard games.
I talked to his dad after the game, talking about just wanting that one extra yard, right? And he almost two times, so close to that 100-yard mark. But Jack continues to be such a huge contributor to this team with he and Tonsmar, the way that they rotate, the way they complement each other, different types of backs, built differently, they run differently, and it just really goes really well when you combine that with Head and his power running game.
Just a few weeks ago, he was under 4 yards a carry, and now with those last 2 weeks, he's at 6.0 a carry and 385 yards as a backup. It's pretty good. And Tonsmeyer's only got 476, so they got over 800 from the tailback position. Head with a ball fake going deep. He had Johnson there, but just the timing off a little bit.
Yeah, you saw the pump fake out to the right side and then laid it up, wanting Johnson to run under it, but just led him a little bit too far, and that ball falls incomplete.
2nd down and 5. Handoff, Lockhart. Darting left and then cut back right before he's met by a bunch of Huskies right there. But he's inside the 25-yard line.
That should be
a
right
first down.
At
it, actually.
Should be a first down. Oh.
3rd down and 2. Again, hard for us to see with our vantage point. So 3rd down and 2. We appreciate on-time service bringing to this. On-time service is on time, and they owe you 59. And that should be a first down as Head gets 5 yards around the right end.
And what a great run by John Paul Head. Derek Wilson shot in from his defensive line position into the backfield, hit John Paul Head right just shy of the line of scrimmage. Head was able to fight through that, push forward for the first down to keep this drive moving.
Head drops back, running right, cuts back. Boy, he's so savvy with his bouncing cuts side to side. For a big guy, he's pretty elusive.
Well, and that's another run-pass option. It was a quarterback run-pass option. He dropped back. Could he hit Tonsmeyer real quick to the outside? He was covered, so then Head tucks it and runs.
Got 6 yards on that. Tonsmeyer coming around the left side, and they're finding the turf a little bit slippery. Now, it hasn't been raining, but
that's interesting. I mean, you don't typically see that on turf, so makes you wonder, is this some different type of turf that maybe is not as broken in as you're typically used to?
It's got real long blades. You can see it from here. It shouldn't be slippery.
That's now 2 different running backs who've tried to cut and have slipped and fallen.
3rd down and 2. He had a first down on that if he keeps his balance, but Head's just going to run it in anyway and maybe get close for a touchdown. It's hard for us to tell, again, from this vantage point, and they're not giving it to him.
Well, they didn't give it to him there, but he's about to run it again and have another opportunity.
So he got 11 yards on that one. That's a first down. And then he'll probably get it here or hand it to Smith, who had his first touchdown last week, you remember. But Paul's going to, we thought he might jump it in there, but he might lose a couple.
Vestavia likes to go fast. I think that time they went a little too fast. There was a little confusion in there as
they weren't ready.
Officials were trying to get the ball set, and it's almost like they weren't out of the way yet before that ball was snapped. So
Derek Wilson, the big 73, is there, and he's a load to try to block, as you can see there, right over the football. And that's Hudson Hager's deal tonight. Head, ball fake, throws it, got his man. Sykes with the touchdown. How about that?
What can he not do these last few weeks? When Vestavia goes goal line, when they go heavy, they bring in defenders. They bring in Sykes. They bring in Houston Owen, the bigger bodies. And that time, a quick little play action. Throw it out to Sykes in the flat. Touchdown, Rebels.
Carter Shirley's been perfect all year from the extra point. It is up, and it is good again. So, timeout on the field. Vestavia 15, Helena 3. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
We're building on-time service to become Alabama's most trusted company. With air conditioning technicians, plumbers, electricians, and appliance repairmen you can trust. Technicians who won't try to sell you things you don't need, who are honest in figuring out the problem and repairing it, and are backed by the on-time service satisfaction guarantee. You can trust the on-time service technician to do the right thing.
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools like Restoration Academy. It's a no-brainer. For more information, go to choosera.org.
So a kickoff that was touched back, and the Huskies will have it on the 20. Let's go to B.J. Milliken on the sidelines. B.J.
Yeah, earlier this year when I was talking to several of the guys, I asked them, even the defensive players, about what they would do if they scored a touchdown. One of them was Andrew Sykes. And I asked him if he remembered what he said, and all he said was he would try to do some dance moves. He didn't quite hit him, but Jack Lockhart did give him the lift in the end zone after that first touchdown.
Well, that's reverse. Lockhart's the skinny guy. How's he lifting Sykes over there? First and 10 for the Huskies, and that's Washington again on that left side. And it's pretty easy and evident to see that you got to have 2 or 3 try to track down number 34.
No, and if I'm Helena, I'm going to keep feeding him, giving him that ball, and see what he can do, because Washington is clearly the guy. He's already up to 63 yards on the night, and we're still here in the first quarter.
Getting close to the end of the first quarter. Llewellyn throws it out and trying to get Torrey Ward, but he missed him. Torrey Ward is the son of the former UAB basketball player, the wide receiver, number 8 there for Helena. So athletic family there.
A good-looking athlete. That's the thing. This Helena offense has playmakers. It's just a matter of can you get them the ball in space, and is Vestavia going to wrap up? I think that's the key. Don't let anything behind you, and then wrap up when you have a chance to make tackles.
Handoff inside Washington. That time more gang tackling effort, and he'll only get a couple of yards over there. Sykes in on that tackle as well, so it'll be 3rd down and 8.
Look at Houston Owen wearing the Jordans right there. Bottom right of your screen. Love that.
So he's gone to the non-cleat
It looks
deal,
like they have
right?
some cleats on him.
Wouldn't you think?
Jordan look cleat. I love it.
Is it a cleat?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. They throw it out. And the flat. Oh, good hit. There, Sam Hansen coming up, hitting. Well, I don't have him on my starters.
That's Jack's Rush. He plays kind of a hybrid, kind of halfback tight end position for Helena. He's a big guy, and that's a great tackle by Hansen, and that's the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, Hansen came in and jacked him up pretty good. We'll take a break. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. It's an absolute certainty that God has called the church to be the vehicle to minister to orphan and vulnerable children. We provide for the church what the church is not prepared to provide for herself. And Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization.
We start each day at Birmingham Fastener with the same core values in mind: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're looking for talented people to join our sales and manufacturing teams. As one of the nation's leading manufacturers, we have over 10 locations across the country and endless opportunities to grow and succeed alongside incredible teammates. Become the future of American manufacturing and help build our nation's infrastructure one bolt at a time here at Birmingham Fastener.
There's the kickoff tonight. Vestavia on top 15-3. And that is out on the 30-yard line as Downey punted it away, I should say.
There's been a couple of rough punts for Helena to start this night, so good field position for Vestavia at the 31, and I think you're going to see more of the same. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball.
And Downey is our punter as well. So, yes, the Huskies punted, and he let that go out of bounds. So, 1st and 10 on the 31. So, they hand off to Tonsmeyer. Boy, he got a great kick-out block. I didn't see who that was, but it was outstanding. He's still on his feet. He's near the 50-yard line. That's an 18-yard run for Tonsmeyer. That may be coming back. Somebody had a great kick-out block there, didn't they? I would assume it was, maybe Moxley. I don't know.
It was either Riggs Manout or Glenn Porter. Either one of them with a great play, and we apologize for not being able to catch exactly who it was.
We're watching the monitor with you.
Yeah, we're not seeing this as clear as we typically would. So, great block. I believe it was Manown, and he did a perfect job of getting the kick out that allowed Tonsmeyer. And I didn't hear what the penalty was, but it was against Vestavia and gets backed up.
So, 1st down and 21. Must have been a hold, I guess. I don't know. Mollison gets the catch and gets a lot of that back to the 35-yard line. So 15 of that back on a nice little screen.
Yeah, quick pass to Mollison out in the flat. He came underneath, and then watch the spin move right there to get forward, fall forward to the 35-yard line.
That's Josh Franklin trying not to get it all back at once and make it a workable 2nd and 6. Head on the run, throws a beautiful pass. Is that Keon Richardson, who was absolutely fantastic the last couple of weeks?
If they're spinning around to make the catch, that's Keon Richardson. You see him here, use his hands, stay in bounds. Nice throw, nice catch, 1st down.
1st and 10 from the 43 of Helena. Fake pitch to Lockhart. Head will keep it and spill some bodies on the way. He'll get a couple of yards on that side before big 73. Derek Wilson again up there to drag him down.
You're not going to tackle Head with one. That time Helena, it took 5 to bring him down. Good quick hitter there. The fake pitch to the outside, and then Head takes it up the middle.
2nd down and 8. Richardson in motion. Head getting pressured. Good stay on the block there. Wow, Lockhart looked like he was alone, but flying up to hit him was a linebacker for Helena, and that's Nathan Thomason.
Yeah, that was a big hit that jarred the ball loose.
Yeah.
It was a good play by Head. He looked downfield, let the play develop, then went to his check down to Lockhart, but Lockhart get hit pretty hard as the ball got there.
3rd down and 8. Nice call here. They got the screen. Smith has got blockers, and they tackled him while the blockers went and left him. So I think he's still got a Royal Automotive 1st down.
Good call by offensive coordinator Josh Franklin. Helena bringing pressure on 3rd down. You run the screen and replace exactly where the pressure came from, and they pick up the 1st down.
1st down and 10. Lockhart, left side's got a hole. Still spinning. Going deep inside to the 11-yard line. So a beautiful 21-yard run. Take a look.
Contact spin. Well, that was a little after the spin. Sorry.
But he was terrific run by Lockhart. So Head coming around. Now Lockhart trying to get a block. Head spinning, carrying guys in, and he's got a touchdown. So Head with his 14th touchdown, his 17th touchdown running and his 31st score of the year.
Good blocking down the field by Lockhart and Smitha. Desmond James comes and tries to make a play there at the end, but Head just runs through him to get into the end zone.
Carter Shirley on for the extra point. It is up, and it is good. Timeout on the field, 22-3 Vestavia. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes. That'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Alabama. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment, enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback, coming to Birmingham October 28th through 30th, and also next spring, April 21st through 23rd. JH Outback. Renew and refresh.
Welcome back to the Rebel Nation Sports Network. Scott Griffin, B.J. Milliken, Chad Pilcher. There's a kick that goes out of bounds, but Tonsmeyer looked like he got banged up a little bit. Let's go to B.J. Milliken and see what he's got on it.
Yeah, he just came off the field after that first run in the drive, and he was limping a little bit. He's already got heavily taped ankles. He never went to the injury tent. The trainer came up next to him and stood there for a minute, never went back into the game, but he seemed to be fine.
Okay. And you heard Robert Evans talk last night, Chad. If guys get dinged, they're coming out. I mean, it's a meaningful game with meaningless results, I guess is the best way to say it. Washington on the run, and Sykes and others dropped it.
Wisenhunt, Houston Owen, all there. But they're not gonna hold somebody out and keep them from playing in this ball game.
No.
But if there's any semblance of a injury or a tweak, they're coming out.
Yeah.
And they're not going to risk an actual injury in this ball game. It's just not worth it.
22-3, Vestavia in control right now with 9 minutes to go. Llewellyn throws it on the run, made a nice athletic play, mistackled it, and there's the big boy you were talking about, Jax Rush, who sounds like a tight end, and he got a first down.
And what a great play by Jordan Ross. He got there at the end of that play. He was blitzing. He hit the quarterback as he let go of the football and then turned around, ran full speed, and was there at the end of that play. It's one thing to have talent, to have size, to have skill. It's another thing to show effort. It's easy when you're that talented to not show the effort. That was an effort play by Jordan Ross.
And you play college football, and fans don't think of it, but college coaches are looking at that, right?
Love it, and that's what they're going to watch. And if you don't give that effort, you don't rank as highly on their board. It's just, look, skill wins the day, ultimately, when you're talking about college coaching. But Jordan Ross wouldn't be talking to the schools or hearing from the schools he's hearing from if he didn't have the skill. It's what's going to differentiate you from that other guy that's a five-star recruit across the country. What makes you better? And it's those types of plays.
Llewellyn got 5 on that play before Richter grabbed his shoestrings, drops back now, finds a man. Wow, Cohen Nelson was right there, and somehow it got to Hunter Hale on the catch. By the way, Ross picked up an offer this week from Southern Cal. He visited Alabama on the 8th earlier this month, so stuff's starting to happen for him.
Yeah, it's just going to keep happening. And, again, just make plays. Come out and play like he's been doing all season long. We've said the more he plays football, the better he's going to get, and that is rung true.
So Washington going around right in. He's got some blockers out there, and he gets guided out of bounds, if you will. And it looks like the senior Grayson Bruno. Oh, is that no? It was Grayson Bruno actually on that tackle. They said Houston Owen on the loudspeaker, and I should have trusted my eyes. So 2nd down and 5. Good look at the line of scrimmage there. Handoff Washington inside. Sykes ripped it out, but the Huskies fall on it. But a good play. You saw Sykes just reach in and rip.
If you're able to stand the ball carrier up as Washington has stood up there, and you watch Sykes rip it out. Great play by Andrew Sykes.
So they don't get it, but the ball goes backwards 5.
Yeah, Helena very fortunate to get back on that ball.
So 3rd down and 6.
And what would have been right at, if not a first down for Helena. Instead, that fumble pulls it back those 5 yards, and now it's a 3rd and 6.
And you can see the size Helena has on the offensive line. They're not as talented, and maybe they're trying to muster up something to play for, but they have size there. Llewellyn throws it out here, and it's not even close. Downey was on his man, but Nathan Wade was the intended receiver, but not really in the area code. So it'll be 4th down and 6. Good look at Wheeler Smith, the senior.
Yeah, if I'm Coach Busby, I'm tempted to go for this one here. midfield. You're already down 22-3, but he's going to send the punting team onto the field.
So a kick down and will bound in the end zone. So the Rebels will come out on the 20-yard line. Perfect night for football. Just a little hint of cold. Chad is going without the jacket so far tonight.
Yeah,
Surprised
last night
you're not
was
cutting
cold.
off the sleeves on the shirt yet.
No, we're good. Tonight feels great. Last night was cold. Feels really good tonight.
It was in the 30s this morning.
Yeah, it was cold this morning as well. It feels really good tonight.
Rebels on top by 18 or 19, I should say, in control right now with 7:09 to go in the first half. He sends it looked like Tonsmeyer out there, didn't it? But it was Tonsmeyer as Head trying to run up the middle. So Tonsmeyer must not have been too banged up. He's back in the football game.
Yeah, and that's good to see because he's obviously going to be needed next week. He was sick a couple of weeks ago versus Oak Mountain, missed that game due to kind of the respiratory flu type virus, but he's gotten better. He lost a lot of weight. He seems to be put that back on, and that took John Paul Head over 100 yards on the night.
Wow, already. And there's Smitha with a handoff. He's starting to get a few himself from that H-back, fullback kind of hybrid position that he can play sometimes.
Smith,
and he got another first down for the Rebels.
That takes Smith to 2 catches for 15 yards, and we said John Paul Head 12 carries, 102 yards, and we're just in the second quarter.
Head throws it out. Boy, it took a long time for that ball to get down. Tonsmeyer caught it. Not a lot happening on that
that's
play.
another slip down. I mean, that's the third slip down we've seen from a Vestavia player trying to cut.
2nd and 9, Vestavia from their own 36-yard line.
2nd down and 9. Head looking. Richardson is there open, and he goes long to Mollison. Richardson was wide open, as you saw in the flat.
Yeah, had 2 Helena defenders, went deep on Mollison. Head decided to take the shot. He had the open route to Richardson. Probably watched that one on film. And you see Richardson, and it's holding against Vestavia as well, so it wouldn't have mattered.
He's tapping him. Hey, man.
He's like, hey, I was open.
Did you not see me over there? Richardson's been nuts. I mean, he had under 300 yards just a week or so ago. Now on the year, 416 yards, and he was stuck at 2 touchdowns for the longest. And he had 3 in the first half last week.
We didn't talk about it much in the open, but cannot underscore how big that victory was just to come out and just take control of that ball game last week.
It was never a doubt, right? I mean, boy, Johnson was there. Looked like he was trying to throw it away, and Johnson made it a competitive throw.
Yeah, Head short-armed that ball a little bit. He was on the run moving, but didn't really let that one go like he would like to. Another flag, and another hold against Vestavia. Goodness gracious.
So 2nd and 23 already. Now it's 3rd and 23.
I think here you just run something safe. You don't want to make a mistake that gives Helena an opportunity to get back in this game. You want to run something safe and then try to get a stop before the half.
3rd down and 23 from the 22-yard line. Head pulls it out quickly. Pump fakes. Going deep. Going for it. Oh, he's got a man. How about that? Brady Johnson with the catch. Take a look.
Quick pump by Head, let it fly. And watch Brady Johnson reach his hands out to make this catch. Wow. That's why I'm not coaching. I said run something safe. Instead, they run the bomb down the field. Great throw by Head. Nice catch by Johnson. And just like that, Vestavia's back in business.
Beautiful play as Johnson gets on the board with the catch. Handoff to Mann on the outside, who's checked in at tailback. And he'll get about 4 yards over there. So Head now 8 of 13 for 155 yards. Johnson 2 catches for 88.
from the Helena 29-yard line.
2 long plays. 2nd and 7 from the 29. Head looked right, cut back left, and he's still trying to get in there to the 25-yard line.
Tackled on the play by number 8, Nathan Thomason.
So that'll be 3rd down and 3.
I think you've got 2 plays to pick this one up.
Tonsmeyer inside, they don't need it. He's just sprinting inside, still on his feet, down to the 10-yard line. So that's a 15-yard run for Tonsmeyer. Normally he goes outside, but it shows you with his vision, he's pretty good between the tackles.
Just a simple dive play. That's all about good pushing from the center and the guard. And we got another flag coming out. I think it was a kind of a false snap.
And you could see McMurray there talking to John Paul Head. Well, they're going to make sure here before they call it. And they're going to confer.
It looked to me like Hudson Hager may have kind of flinched with the ball.
And they're waving it off.
1st and goal, Vestavia from the Helena 10-yard line.
Looked like the officials were confused, weren't certain about what they saw, and so nice decision by the referee to wave that one off.
1st and 10 on the 10. Head faked the pitch to Tonsmeyer, looking, throws a lob, boy, dangerous to Richardson. And I didn't think he's lost a yard, did he? Or
yeah, and on that play, Eli Ray was right there and covered. That was a very dangerous pass, but good job by Richardson of seeing the football, catching the football, and avoiding any type of damage.
From the Helena 12-yard line.
Head keeps it, running inside again for the touchdown as he leaps in the air and grabs another touchdown, his 2nd running tonight, and the Rebels are back on the board.
You love every part of that run except the end. See there as he gets in the end zone, he jumps and just gets nailed. That is dangerous.
You fall on your ankle and twist that, that's not good. Whew. So Head with another touchdown, and Turner will set it down. Shirley will kick it up and in. Again, he's perfect on the year. It is up and good. Timeout on the field. 28-3, Vestavia on top. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Dr. Melanie Petro has a simple philosophy.
I love to see them look in the mirror and see themselves several years ago. It reconnects them with who they are.
Dr. Petro is double board certified and fellowship trained to help you see you again.
When you see yourself again, all of a sudden you're not just reconnected with your face, you're reconnected with yourself, and it gives you a confidence.
When you have an appliance problem in your home, call On Time Service. Our appliance technicians will arrive on time in trucks fully stocked with hundreds of replacement parts. From stoves and ovens to washers and dryers to refrigerators and dishwashers, it's appliance repair on time or we pay you $59. And always backed by the On Time Service guarantee. For appliance repair, call the Appliance Pro at On Time Service.
There's the kick by Shirley as the Rebels are well in hand, 29-3. Hale with the return and knocked down immediately at the 23-yard line. Good special teams play again by the Rebels. Gibson Bean was in on that tackle. Also Dylan Jaquez, the backup defensive back, there to exchange some paint as well.
With the exception of a few runs by Jordan Washington, this has been a dominant performance by Vestavia in the first half. 320 yards of offense for Vestavia, just 115 for Helena, and 74 of those yards have come on 12 Jordan Washington runs.
And there is the backup, A.J. Horsted, who's in the secondary as well, across the 45-yard line, and Will Cox makes a nice tackle, or he'd still be running towards Clinton.
First and 10, Helena from their own 45-yard line.
So the first down for the Huskies from the 45-yard line.
Good start to that drive by Helena. Horsted's a guy that can really get it as well. Earlier in the year against Pelham, he had 33 carries for 190 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Handoff again, Horsted, this time knocked down.
Number 23, A.J. Horsted on the
And looks like Houston Owen was there to knock him down after 2 or 3 yard gain.
Second and 7, Helena from their own 48-yard line.
Second and 7 from the 48. Llewellyn drops, starting to dance a little bit. Wisenhunt giving chase. Ball fake and runs out of bounds. So it'd be third down.
That's a great effort by Wheeler Smith, getting an opportunity with Watson out of the game this week as well as last week, and he's taking advantage of that. Great effort getting to the sideline and forcing the ball carrier out of bounds.
Third down and 5. Llewellyn looking left, throws it on the run now. Caught Cohen Nelson right there, and it looks like it's enough for the first down as he found Hale. They like Hudson Hale, right? They want to get the ball in his hands.
I feel like when Helena's gotten a little bit going, it's been because they've gotten the ball in Hale's hands. I mean, they've got the steady run game that can really move them down the field methodically. But if they want to make a dynamic play, it's Hale who's the guy that's going to make that.
Let's go to B.J. Milliken on the sideline. You said some of the coaches were not very enthralled with J.P. Head's leaping touchdown, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of go down yelling. Obviously concerned about potential injuries to star players before the playoffs, but the coaches were very emphatic. But JP, he's a tough guy. He's not going to go down just like that.
No, he got another touchdown on that run.
Well, we saw Head earlier in the game. He picked up a first down and then went down. It's a little different when you get close to the end zone.
Yeah, you want to
put those points on the board.
Boom. Oh, boy. Wow, it showed you how the power of Rush. And I didn't see who came up to hit him. Was that Wheeler Smith that hit him, or somebody hit him pretty good, and he just kind of shook it off?
Yeah, we've seen that a couple of times with Jack's Rush, doing a really good job of just barreling forward. He's a big guy and can take a lick.
So you can see Helena has some skilled players. It's not like, I mean, this is a team that's won 6 games this year. They're 6-3, and they were 6-1, I think, at one time.
And that's another first down. So Helena going to get back on the line. Clock stops momentarily, and now running again. Minute and 15 seconds left.
First and 10 on the 27. Hale on the end around, and he's in the secondary again before he is knocked down. Dobbs in there, and Gibson Bean also in on that tackle.
Hale's run good for a first down. First and 10, Helena from the Vestavia 17-yard line.
29-3, 52 seconds to go. They hand to Horsted right in. He's got it. He'll score a touchdown. Wow. So the Huskies come right down and answer right back in a pretty quick fashion.
Yeah, that's an impressive drive. They did it. It wasn't in a hurry-up manner. They just very slowly and methodically went down the field. It all started with a really strong run by Horsted that got him out near midfield, and then Horsted finishes it off with the touchdown run.
So the Huskies have come back to score their first touchdown of the night, and they're down by 20, hoping to cut that to 19, and they do. Timeout on the field. We'll take a break. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Alabama Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
All right, 29-10, the Huskies kicking it away. A little squabbler down there that Keon Richardson finally picks up, dancing around, trying to get a return going, and he'll go down about the 34-yard line with 33 seconds to go in the first half, and Vestavia in control, and that leaves a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth to let a touchdown get answered so quickly.
It does, and I think it changes the approach here. Only 33 seconds, but Vestavia has all 3 timeouts. I think you take a shot, try to go score again, and try to see if you can't put something, even if it's just a field goal, try to get some more points on the board right here before the half.
They're in a bunch kind of formation, a tight formation, but they're going to throw out of it. John Paul Head throwing, and to your point, they're out of bounds. That's Mollison with the catch. So that's a big gain there. And was there a flag or? Oh, I think a timeout.
Timeout, Vestavia.
It was hard to see, and again, from our point, I don't know if he got out of bounds or not, so I'm not sure if
they had to call a timeout.
Yeah, Vestavia clearly called a timeout. Looked as if he was very close to the being out of bounds, but they say he was not, and he called timeout.
Now, Carter Shirley's longest is 37 yards.
Yeah.
So you've probably got to pick up about another 25 yards to give him a shot. But I thought his 37-yarder cleared pretty easily. So from 40, they might would try something.
I think they would. I think they probably want to get to the 20 is where they feel really comfortable. If they got to the in between the 20 and 25, they might give it a shot. But I'll say he had a couple of knuckleballs here and there tonight. Last week, he'd have been good from 45, I think.
Yeah.
Easily. It just depends on how he catches it. Again, I don't know what's up with this turf. I feel like it's got a different feel down here on this turf.
This is not a play it safe formation. Trips out to the right side. They're throwing it down deep. And there was nobody around, but for some reason the Huskies didn't come close to that either. Nathan Jones looked like it was intended for him.
Yeah, and I like taking the shot, but you don't have to take the deep shot every time. You've got 17 seconds. You still have 2 timeouts. So even if you get something short, pick up 10 or 15 yards, you could do that twice, call a timeout both times, and still have an opportunity to kick.
See what they do here. Head dropping. There's the screen. It's Lockhart. That'll get some good yardage down the sidelines before he's knocked out of bounds. And again, from our vantage point, it's hard for us to tell where exactly he's knocked out. It looks like they're marking it on the 38. So from here, another 15 for sure before you would probably take a shot. There's only 9 seconds to go. Head doing a quick toss. That's exactly what they're doing. Richardson down, timeout. So from here, it's a 49-yard field goal.
We'll see what they decide to do. That feels on the little bit on the long side of Carter Shirley's range. So 2 options here. You attempt a very long field goal.
Doesn't look like the field goal unit is gathering.
Yeah, I think they ran that play to get a little bit closer so the last shot they can throw a pass into the end zone and you're not having to throw a Hail Mary. You can run just a normal play.
If it was 6 or 7, would you do a quick out pattern? And
yes. You'd run another quick slant. You could run a slant, having a timeout. You could run a slant and get down.
But
you could run it out. You got to take a shot. This is the last play.
Yeah. Normally in the past they've gone to number 2 because he's about 6'4" out there. Brady Johnson, the transfer from Texas. And we'll see. He's still on the field, so we'll see what they do here. So Johnson and Richardson and Freelow, the senior, is also in there on this bunch formation to the right. Freelow, Johnson, and Keon Richardson. So Head will drop back, throw it up for grabs, nice and high. bounces around and falls to the turf. So not a bad try. At least they had a chance at it, but Vestavia with a 29-10 halftime lead. B.J. Milliken will have head coach Robert Evans.
Coach, your thoughts on the first half?
I thought offensively we played well, and I thought defensively we played really soft, catching misfits, a lot of misfits. And, you know, that's ultimately on me. It's my responsibility to get it fixed. And so, you know, it's a typical week 10. They're finishing up, and we're trying not to get banged up for the playoffs. And, you know, but it is what it is. We're up 19, and but they're good enough to come back. I mean, we're not doing much to stop them right now in the running game, and it's not really all that elaborate. So it's just disappointing that we're not kind of emotionally invested in tackling people to the ground. So that's the thing that stands out, and that we'll try to get fixed at halftime. But we still got to play. You know, they're good enough they got enough skill, and they proved that in the first half to score points on us, and we need to keep scoring.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
All right, that's Robert Evans, and he kind of reiterated what we've been talking about. The Vestavia band getting ready. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and take a look at the Rebels. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. It's an absolute certainty that God has called the church to be the vehicle to minister to orphan and vulnerable children. We provide for the church what the church is not prepared to provide for herself. And Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment, enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback, coming to Birmingham October 28th through 30th, and also next spring, April 21st through 23rd.
Welcome back to Husky Stadium. Scott Griffin, Chad Pilcher, B.J. Milliken, the Vestavia band. Our last time to see them during the regular season. We'll let you enjoy the Rebels here from Helena.
and gentlemen, the Vestavia Hills High School Rebel Marching Band. For the High School, this is Aaron Green and this is James Bradley.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Alabama. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the AHSAA.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment, enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback, coming to Birmingham October 28th through 30th, and also next spring, April 21st through 23rd. JH Outback. Renew and refresh.
When you have an appliance problem in your home, call On Time Service. Our appliance technicians will arrive on time in trucks fully stocked with hundreds of replacement parts. From stoves and ovens to washers and dryers to refrigerators and dishwashers, it's appliance repair on time or we pay you $59. And always backed by the On Time Service guarantee. For appliance repair, call the Appliance Pro at On Time Service.
Welcome back here at halftime. Scott Griffin here with Dr. Melanie Petro, and she's a big sponsor of the Vestavia Hills Athletics. And I'm just curious as to why you would get involved with the school system. It's always good when businesses do, but what's your reason?
Well, my son is here. My son loves Vestavia and loves being a Vestavia Rebel, and I love him. I love the community and what it's done, and I love love everything about it. And I'm very lucky and honored to be a part of anything that supports Vestavia.
You have a very successful business. You could probably be a lot of places, so why here?
I think it's the feeling. It's a home, and it's small, but yet we have access to some of the greatest things in healthcare. And I think that big cities can be fun, but as everybody knows, they have the absolute worst plastic surgery. And I think when you get too many people in a place, you aren't able to really filter it out because there's so many options. And I think here we're tight-knit and close enough that you really develop relationships and a sense of trust, and you know who did what. And I think in this field, that's everything.
I would think that most of your customers are Vestavia. You probably have all over Birmingham or surrounding areas, but it's also an accountability, right? That you know you live here, your business is here to who you're servicing.
I mean, there's nothing more important than trust, and I trust the community, and they trust me back, and that's the greatest way to work.
What is the main thing you like to give back to the community through your work?
Education about what these procedures are and what can be done safely, what you can expect, what it's going to cost, and just a good, honest result, a natural result. And I think when people know and they're educated, they can make great decisions. But as a whole, this field has been very secretive, and so people don't understand what it is because people don't want them to understand what it is, because then they can charge them more or do whatever they want to do. But I think having the education lets people know what's actually happening, and I think that's most important.
Finally, you gave me a great response on why you chose this field. If you can go into that thought a little bit again.
I think that when people are happy, they're capable of anything. And I think that when you feel good about yourself, you're able to do more, and it just gets you over yourself. I think it's like the opposite of vanity. And I think there's too many bad results out there scaring people into doing something that would make them look more recognizable to themselves. Because when you look in the mirror and you don't see yourself, it freaks you out. It's not what you're used to seeing, and then all of a sudden you start acting tired, or people keep saying, "Are you tired?" You start to get tired. So seeing the energy come back to people's lives, and just to the smile on their faces when they recognize themselves again. It should be that way. We shouldn't ever look on the news and be unable to watch it because everyone looks weird. I mean, you only see it when it's bad.
That's a great reason, and we appreciate you and this business, Dr. Melody Petro, being involved with Vestavia Hills Athletics. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more at the half. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
We start each day at Birmingham Fastener with the same core values in mind: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're looking for talented people to join our sales and manufacturing teams. As one of the nation's leading manufacturers, we have over 10 locations across the country and endless opportunities to grow and succeed alongside incredible teammates. Become the future of American manufacturing and help build our nation's infrastructure one bolt at a time here at Birmingham Fastener.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Alabama, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. We see it beginning in the Old Testament in the Pentateuch. God continues to renew that call over and over and over again to the people. And so it's an absolute certainty that God has called the church to be the vehicle to minister to orphan and vulnerable children. We provide for the church what the church is not prepared to provide for herself. And Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization to allow the church to live out the mission that the church has been given to proclaim the gospel through orphan care.
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools like Restoration Academy. It's a no-brainer. For more information, go to choosera.org.
Welcome back to Rebel Nation Sports Network. Scott Griffin here. Brought to you by On Time Service. Remember, we are on time, or we owe you 59. The Rebels on top, 29-10. As you see, the Huskies ending their halftime performance. Let's take a look at some of the halftime numbers here from the first half. The Rebels with 17 first downs to the Huskies 11. Rushing is pretty close, 167, 145, and that's with Jordan Washington, the big running back for the Huskies, having a great first half. Passing, though, John Paul Head has been terrific, 186 for 47. Head 13 of 19 for 186 yards and a touchdown. So the total yardage, the Rebels in control, 353 to 192 for the first half. And again, averaging over 100 yards more than the Huskies, more than their opponents as the year goes. And certainly doing that here in the first half as well. Vestavia on top, 29-10. Again, a win tonight ensures a winning season because you're 6-4. The playoffs start, and all you can do is win, and if you lose one, you're out. So at 6-4 with a 2-game cushion, you are ensured of a winning season, and that would be big for these seniors who have played for 3 different head coaches here and making the playoffs for the first time. So that'd be really something to hang your hat on. We'll take another break. We'll come back with more. Again, you're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. It's an absolute certainty that God has called the church to be the vehicle to minister to orphan and vulnerable children. We provide for the church what the church is not prepared to provide for herself. And Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment, enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback, coming to Birmingham October 28th through 30th, and also next spring, April 21st through 23rd.
All right, 29-10, Vestavia on top of Helena. And heading towards that 6th win of the year as they are warming up and getting ready for this second half. You hate to have that score come in right before the half, but still in control of the football game.
In control, but I think that last score changes the approach by this coaching staff, which is probably the most frustrating thing to them. I think instead of sending your backups and your subs in to start the half, I think you're going to have to send your starters back out just to see if you can't put the drive together or get
another
stop.
Score, right?
Because, look, if Helena goes down and, look, Vestavia received to start the game, so Helena's going to receive this time. They go down and score. They just cut it to a 12-point game, just like that. And so I think you got to leave your starters in. It's what they're likely to do.
Good shot of Keon Richardson there.
Yeah, and he's a guy that's really stepped up the last couple of weeks. When he gets out in open space and has a chance to go up and make a play, he's done it. And he's been really dynamic catching the football, which is a great big play option down the field for John Paul Head.
So Carter Shirley getting some kicks in, and we're about ready to kick off the second half again to the Huskies. Don't forget, next week, Friday, pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7 from Austin High School, their brand new stadium. And if you make the trip up for the first, playoff trip in a while, that'll be great. If not, we'll have it on Facebook. No, actually, we will not. I forgot about this. Let me straighten this out. Sorry, Chad. I forget. The Alabama High School Athletic Association controls the playoff viewing, so it'll be on the NFHS network, correct?
Correct.
And on the Vestavia Hills app. Now, we will have a tape of the game 48 hours, I think, after the fact. So you'll be able to see it. You just won't be able to see it live. And that's just the way it works in the playoffs in the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
And are we going to have audio live or no? No.
I asked that, and you have to pay for that or something. It was some kind of odd deal.
Okay.
So,
well,
we will. You can get it on the NFHS, but we'll have it like it is live on tape delay.
Got it. And one thing, speaking about Austin, I went to the concession stand during the halftime to try to get some water. John Basiglio just hooked me up with a bottle of water as we got back here, so thank you for that. And as I was standing in line and never got to the front to order my water at the concession stand, Austin head coach Jeremy Perkins was standing in line talking to former Vestavia Hills head coach Buddy Anderson. So Coach Perkins, the Austin coach, is here tonight to watch Vestavia play. And I saw he and Coach Anderson conversing.
So he takes week 10 off as well.
Yeah, he's here tonight. Or maybe they played
week 11, excuse me.
But I think they're done. And so they are done.
Oh, that's right. It's Thursday night.
It's Thursday night. But he was here tonight, obviously watching who he knows his opponent's going to be next week. And similarly, look, Coach Evans has put in time this week getting ready for Austin.
Yep.
You know what's coming, and so these coaches obviously getting ready. But Coach Perkins with a little bit of an advantage that he gets to see Vestavia play in person.
Hunter Hale with the return for the Huskies, and a nice one as he gets it across the 35-yard line, and that's where the Huskies will set up the first drive of the second half. And you heard Robert Evans talking about he wants to see better tackling. You don't want to get in a bad habit here the week before the playoffs tackling like they've been doing in the first half.
No, and that's what comes with relaxing just a little bit. It's not like these guys aren't playing hard. They are. It's just mentally, when it just feels different mentally and you relax just a little bit, just not played with the same intensity that we've seen them play with the last few weeks.
So inside, A.J. Horsted broke it free, and he's got a first down. Will Cox made a good tackle, but it was about 12 yards downfield.
Yeah, we had some extracurricular activities back in the backfield. John Martin Richter, a couple of Helena offensive linemen, but that's a nice start to the half. This is really, honestly, a best-case scenario for Helena. Come out, get a big run. When they scored on the long touchdown drive previously, it started with a nice Horsted run and then finished with a Horsted touchdown. That's a nice start to this drive.
Horsted again on the right side. This time they stand him up pretty good. And in on that tackle, Wisenhunt looks like...
And let me say, just from these first couple of plays.
Gibson Bean also in there. Sorry
These
about
first
that.
couple of plays I've seen, Vestavia's going to have to be very smart about keeping their cool. Helena is playing very physically. At least their offensive line is to start this drive.
Llewellyn throws it. Downfield is picked up by Grant Downey. It looked like it was intended for him. The senior with interception number 7.
That kid just finds the football. You got good pressure in the backfield right here as he let's go. Gets a hit, and then Downey perfectly just run the route like it was intended for him. Another interception. He's everywhere around the football when the other team puts it in the air.
7 interceptions on the year. That should get him some All-State or something, right? Recognition a little bit? You're laughing at that.
No, I like it. No, I totally agree.
Who else has 7 interceptions? That's got to lead the state.
I don't know the answer, but that's a lot, and it's really good.
Oh, there's a face mask on Tonsmeyer. I didn't see a flag come out, but he's wrestled out of bounds. I don't know how they missed the face mask.
A flag is out.
Oh, okay. Should go against Helena. And should be an automatic first down.
They got it.
Yep. So that's a first down. So you'd love to, we stopped them on their drive with the interception, and you'd love to score here. Then you could say, all right, we're back.
Relax.
Yeah, we're back in the driver's seat a little bit here. So Smith is flanked to the right, Tonsmeyer right behind him. Nope, don't hand to Tonsmeyer. Maybe that was a misread by John Paul on that one.
Yeah. Look,
you're okay with Mercury in there.
You're okay with Head running the ball. You want to make sure it's good opportunities to run the ball. You don't want to take unnecessary hits. I agree with you there. That would have been a better ball to hand off to Tonsmeyer.
Mollison in motion. Hand off Tonsmeyer this time left side, and he's got positive yardage. So it's 3rd down and probably, 6 or 7 maybe. 3rd and 8 they'll call it. And again, we're calling the game from a monitor, so bear with us. We usually can see the field. John Paul head rolls, got a man, and did his feet get down? That's Mollison. It's incomplete, they call it. He caught it, it looked like, but.
Well, it was hard to see from our vantage point on whether or not did he catch it and land out of bounds, or did he just not hold on to it? Either way, it's incomplete. And decision time for Coach Evans. You're right at midfield. Play clock's at 25, and he's going to send the punt unit on.
Yeah, I thought he might do the pooch kick. They've done that a couple of times this year with John Paul Head backing out into the kicking formation.
It's just too long. 3rd and 8 when you're at midfield. It's not worth that risk. It looks like we got some confusion here on who's supposed to be in and where they're supposed to be. But the play clock has stopped running. It's stuck at 25. And now it's running.
So they could wait, burn off another 20 if they'd like. But it would only burn the play clock. Okay. I don't know why the clock's not running. Because it was out of bounds, huh? Kick there by Downey. and it is deadened at the 17-yard line. So the Huskies, both teams have stopped each other once here in the third quarter, and the Huskies come back out. Still trailing by 19 to the playoff-bound Rebels of Vestavia Hills. There's Downey, his senior year, 7 interceptions.
Awesome. It's awesome. It's hard to get 1 or 2, much less 7, and he continues to make it. If the ball is in the air and errantly thrown, he goes and just gets it.
Llewellyn hands off, and it's Washington, and they'll gang tackle him. He'll get 3 yards, but Bean is in there. Bean's getting a lot of playing time tonight. And you can see he's a smaller linebacker, but he's not afraid to put his helmet in there.
Yeah. That takes Washington to 77 yards on the night. We mentioned he's getting some looks. He has offers from UAB, Troy, Memphis, Coastal Carolina.
Yep. Pretty good player. Boy, ball fumbled there. Still on the ground. Ross picks it up. Touchdown. Jordan Ross after the fumble. There's the score you were looking for.
Llewellyn gives it to Hale, just never had a hold of it. Sykes gets his hands on it. Jordan Ross, Johnny on the spot into the end zone.
So Ross gets a touchdown. A lot of defenders getting it, but he gets it from the pure defensive standpoint. Other guys have gotten it on the offensive side of the ball, but Ross finally scores. Actually, that's his second touchdown because he had one in the Spain Park game. He's among the scoring leaders. Remember, he had the ripped fumble and fell on it in the end zone. Forgot about that one. So that's his second touchdown of the year. Shirley kicks it up, and it's good. Timeout on the field, 36-10. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
When the on-time service technician arrives in your home, you give us an amazing opportunity. The opportunity to earn your trust, to arrive at your home on time, to fix the problem in your home, and to never sell you something you don't need. When the job is done and the technician leaves, I want you to be really pleased with the work. And I want something more. I want you to say to yourself, I trust that guy.
Welcome back to the Rebel Nation Sports Network. Scott Griffin, Chad Pilcher, BJ Milliken. He'll talk to Vestavia Hills Athletics Director Myra Miles just 1 second after this return here. And there's Washington again on the kickoff return. Run out of bounds at the 25. BJ, what do you got?
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, Myra, obviously wearing the shirt tonight with the pink on it. A lot of the coaches are wearing it. The players have the wrists and the tape that's pink. Tell us a little bit about it, obviously for breast cancer awareness, but tell us how that means to you guys.
Well, it's something that I started when I was at Hoover, and it's just really important to us to make sure that we're recognizing this, because there's so many of us that are affected by it, have family members, friends, but we always want to do something to bring that recognition out. I got tickled. It was funny when I talked to Robert about it. I was like, now I'm going to go in and do like we did, when we were at Hoover. I'm going to get you some pink polos, and we're going to get the kids some. But he said, I don't wear a pink polo. And it wasn't about the color. It was about the collar. He didn't want the collar. So anyway, we came up with this, and just something fun, and the kids have enjoyed it. So just bring recognition to something very, very, very important.
That's awesome. But, October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it's not only in October that you guys do something. Y'all do something in the spring to raise funds for breast cancer awareness.
Yes, RISE is a huge thing in Vestavia. They raised, I want to say, BJ, close to $250,000 last year. Just an unbelievable project, and our community they're bought in. And so it's just fun, and the kids enjoy it, and it just gives us an opportunity to do something good. It's just feel good.
That's awesome. Well, you guys must feel good first playoff appearance since 2019. How excited was the school last week after that big win?
Well, it's been crazy good. I mean, and it's this program is going to continue to grow with this coaching staff and the direction our administration has everybody going. So we're excited. We're going to Austin and really feel good about it. We got T-shirts up for sale already, so hopefully we'll have a really good showing next week, and the crowd will follow with us.
Well, we'll be there too. We'll see you there.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, BJ. And that's Myra Miles, the athletic director for the Vestavia Hills Rebels. Does a great job. And was at Hoover, of course, University of Tennessee for a brief bit, but back where she belongs in high school athletics. There's again, Horsted's having a strong little second half of here as well.
He's running it very well. And for those who don't know, not only is Myra, you talked about some of the things she does, she is in the Alabama High School Athletics Association Hall of Fame.
Right.
For her work at Hoover, for her work as a softball coach, where she won a couple of state championships. She is one of the best in the business, and Vestavia got a steal when she came back and agreed to be the athletic director. And you see the result here on this football field of what she's done, but also just in the other sports, the things that she's got planned from a facility standpoint, and the way that she is upgrading this athletic department and really bringing it, advancing it from a technology standpoint. There are a lot of things either happening or in the works that she has a vision for. And I'll tell you this, too. I don't think Robert Evans comes here if Myra is not the athletic director.
Probably not, because he told me he never wanted to be a head coach.
No.
He's a guy that had no aspirations for
That's
it.
exactly right. And everybody's like, oh, it was the perfect fit. You're right. It was the perfect fit.
It was.
But he doesn't come here if Myra Miles is not the athletic director.
There's Washington again, still on his feet and going down the right side. And again, it looks like just with the body language, we're back to that, hey, let's get this game over with deal. And, you know, they've got be a little bit more interested in tackling 34 or he's going to bust out.
Yeah, and he's not a fun guy to tackle either.
No.
I mean, he will come hard at you downhill, and that's a tough thing to do. Look, that last touchdown gives you a little breathing room, but it also makes you relax a little bit, and that's what you're seeing.
So, but it doesn't mean anything if you allow a touchdown right on the other end, and that's the Huskies are on a drive right now inside the 25-yard line.
You know, Washington, and this is a good combination of backs. When you talk about Horsted and Washington, they're similar yet different, and really kind of bring it. Washington's now at 110 yards rushing on 18 carries. Horsted's at 85.
And there's Horsted again, and this time not much. Ross was there to make sure he got wrapped up. Then he got joined by, got a little help from his friends there, Joe Cocker with Houston Owen and John Martin Richter also chiming in. Remember Ross got an offer from Southern Cal this week as they keep pouring in for number 5. And he's only going to get better and better. We've seen him really grow tremendously just this year, have we not? Just from game 1 to now, he just looks like a different football player. Oh, an interesting pirouette, and Ross just throws him down, and it looked worse than it was. I don't know if it was a horse collar. We'll have to see on the replay if that's a horse collar or not. And slow it down here. Let's see. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so.
I think
it
was
hard
close.
To say.
I think that call was certainly influenced by the sideline on which
No
it
doubt.
occurred. The official, it was a delayed flag coming out after a pretty strong reaction by the Helena sideline. I don't blame them either, taking up for their kids. But what was started as a very nice play by Jordan Ross results in a 15-yard penalty that puts Helena at the 16-yard line.
So 1st down and 10 for the Huskies from the 16. There's a good look at that front four that's been really good. Wheeler Smith in there. Jacob Watson has missed a couple of games. We hope to have him back next week. Horsted around the right side, finding room. It looks like they're ready to get him. I keep expecting him to get tackled, and he's 9 yards down the field.
And I think part of that is good running and a good job of staying behind your pads by the running back. But another part of that is just not great tackling by this Vestavia defense. And if there's been an Achilles heel for Vestavia this season. They just go in these little spurts. I can think specifically about Hewitt Trustful. It just spurts where they just don't tackle as well as they would typically do.
William Bond in there on that far defensive end as well for the Rebels. Handoff, Washington tripped up. Michael Dobbs there with that cast, helping drag down Richardson, and Cox also in on the tackle. There's Gibson, Bean. So they're also playing a couple of backups here. Bean, Bond's playing some. Wheeler Smith is a backup sitting in for Watson.
Yeah, but there's a lot of starters out there, too.
I'm not making excuses.
Yeah. Look, I think this is 4-down territory for Helena, so you got 3 more shots for the Huskies to try to get it in the end zone.
Rush in motion. They'll run behind him with Horsted, and he's jacked up and stood up by Will Cox. Good tackle there by the senior.
Will Cox got in there, and you saw him start to lift Horsted off the ground. Really good job. Strong tackle by Will Cox, and that makes it 3rd down.
So 3rd down from the 5. And to your point, obviously it's 4-down territory. I couldn't imagine Busby kicking a field goal. What would the point of that be? In a 36-10 game. So 3rd and 5 on the 5 and timeout. Timeout, Helena. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
We're building on-time service to become Alabama's most trusted company. With air conditioning technicians, plumbers, electricians, and appliance repairmen you can trust. Technicians who won't try to sell you things you don't need, who are honest in figuring out the problem and repairing it, and are backed by the on-time service satisfaction guarantee. You can trust the on-time service technician to do the right thing.
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools like Restoration Academy. It's a no-brainer. For more information, go to choosera.org.
All right, here we go. 3rd down and 5. Thanks for watching with On-Time Service. Remember, they're on time or they'll owe you $59. Our sponsor to bring you this action, Llewellyn putting a bunch of guys in motion. They go right side. That's where he rolls. Throws back left, though. Wide open touchdown. Rush with a touchdown. That's a good call.
That was a well-executed play. Completely confused the Vestavia defense. There is a flag on the play.
Uh-oh. Let's see what that's about.
Holding the call against Vestavia.
Yeah. Holding against Vestavia has obviously declined. I like that play. It was a number of shifts, a couple of motions. Everything went to the right, and then you snuck Rush out, and he was wide open back to the left.
So 36-16. And I guess they're going to go for 2, it looks like. I don't know if they'll get out of this formation like some high schoolers do and get to a kicking formation. Doesn't look like it. Llewellyn pitches back, and the ball was loose. I guess he fumbled the football. Ross sat on it, and now we've got a little scrum going in the end zone.
They're going to call a personal foul against Helena, but watch this fall by Jordan Ross.
And Robert Evans is going on the field. As you see what's going on, look like Ross, and there's Sean Rainey telling him, we don't need that.
Can't afford it. Can't afford it.
It's not worth
any
it.
Time.
And Robert Evans will do it as well. So Sean doing a good job getting Jordan unemotional. I didn't really see what happened.
So the ball came out, and I didn't see if they said the try was good or not. The ball came out. It was picked up by Jordan Ross. He was then hit.
12 plays, 67 yards in 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Capped off with a 5-yard touchdown pass from number 5, Dalton Llewellyn, to number 17, Jax Rush.
And he's getting an explanation there, so not exactly sure.
If we have a replay, it was Jordan Ross had an awesome fall. I think it was an acting, but he fell. Now the penalty was against Helena because there was contact and pushing.
And he's finding out now what. Let's take a look and see if we can see.
So there's the try coming in. Looks like the ball came out. I don't think he got in. Jordan Ross picks it up. Keep it playing. Keep it rolling. He gets hit, and then watch the Helena offensive lineman. We didn't get the end of it. The Helena offensive lineman got up in his face, and that's when he fell down, and the flag came out.
So it looks like the penalty's on Vestavia because they're going to kick from the 50. Or no, they're marking it off.
They called it offsetting. They must have called it against both sides, so they called offsetting penalties, so they marked it.
That's kind of a march for nothing, isn't it?
March for nothing. But I guess they have to mark it off.
Couldn't they just call it offsetting and leave it at the 30?
We don't have the best seats in the house tonight. To me, that, again,
that's bizarre.
Yeah, it's just an odd call.
All right. In any event, 36-16 is the score with 3:20 to go in the third quarter. I'm just getting jacked up about getting a winning season and then also going to the playoffs. And there's a short kick. Looks like Mollison trying to find it, but he's had a good night returning the football as he's to the 42-yard line. Let's go to B.J. Milligan. B.J., I don't know if you could see better than us on that deal in the end zone.
I couldn't in the end zone, but I can tell you that the emotions are getting a little more intense on both sides. A little pushing, a little shoving there at the end of that play. So that's maybe something to keep an eye on, which team keeps their composure. Obviously, Helena done after this game, but, Vestavia's got a lot to play for.
I think that's why Coach Evans called that timeout. And he is saying exactly what you just said, BJ. Vestavia cannot afford anybody to get a penalty, anybody to get ejected, and potentially miss time next week. Helena has nothing to play for. It doesn't matter what happens to them. Vestavia does. They cannot afford to have somebody out. That's why that touchdown is tough, because now you got to leave your offense back in. You're only up by a few scores, and so they got to leave the offense on the field. You got a couple of new guys in there, but you got to leave your starters in at this score. You haven't quite put this thing away. Still 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the third quarter, and that's exactly what that timeout was about, to remind the kids it's not worth it.
So here come the Rebels. First down from the 41. Tonsmeyer, right side, got a good kick-out block there, and he's got big yardage as he is about a 17-yard run to the 40-yard line of the Huskies, his best run of the night.
Ooh. Oh, no. They're carrying Tonsmeyer off the field. And that's not good.
So not sure what happened to Will on that, but we do not need to lose our number one running back. Is it a cramp?
It might be a cramp.
Hopefully it's just a cramp, so we'll see.
Yeah,
so
the way they're treating that
first
looks
down.
like a cramp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cramp. You can get over cramps.
Yeah.
But I would say if he's cramping, that should probably be the last carry of the night, because those are not fun.
So here come the Rebels. First and 10 from the 29-yard line. Lockhart obviously goes in to back him up. Smitha right there at the H-back position. Ainsworth is in front of him. Handoff, Lockhart somehow got 3 or 4 on a murky, mucky-looking run.
Tackle on the play by number 8, Nathan Thomason. And number 15, Matthew Thompson.
Second down and 8. From the 27-yard line. Head to Lockhart, right side. Good running, good blocking, falls forward as usual. And Lockhart to the 16-yard line. We've said it all year. He just falls forward somehow.
From the Helena 16-yard line.
So 1st and 10 Rebels. Lockhart again inside and battling. It's another hard 6 yards.
Following his blockers, Smitha. He's hobbling a little bit, but seems to be okay.
Also in on the tackle, number 11, Mason Johnson.
Head around in, trying to find
Number 13,
the pay dirt again, and he's down to the 3. And I think he's kind of wearing out the Huskies' secondary. They're tired of tackling him.
That depth is starting to kick in. You can tell this Vestavia offensive line is just pushing on this Helena defense.
Lockhart inside, looked like he tiptoed, and he is tackled pretty much at the line of scrimmage on that run.
Number 11, Mason Johnson.
So you start getting in the 40s, heading into the fourth quarter, you might have it in tow.
You feel a lot more comfortable making substitutions once you get into that fourth quarter. There's the flag. John Paul Head indicates it's against Helena.
Personal foul, the call against Helena.
Personal foul against the Huskies. So we started this drive talking about how it had gotten a little bit chippy. And if you want to tamp that down, it's up to the officials to do that.
We'll take a break, come back, timeout on the field. The Rebels up by 20. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Dr. Melanie Petro has a simple philosophy.
I love to see them look in the mirror and see themselves several years ago. It reconnects them with who they are.
Dr. Petro is double board certified and fellowship trained to help you see you again.
When you see yourself again, all of a sudden you're not just reconnected with your face, you're reconnected with yourself, and it gives you a confidence.
When you have an appliance problem in your home, call On Time Service. Our appliance technicians will arrive on time in trucks fully stocked with hundreds of replacement parts. From stoves and ovens to washers and dryers to refrigerators and dishwashers, it's appliance repair on time or we pay you $59. And always backed by the On Time Service guarantee.
All right, John Paul Head runs it in for the touchdown as they came back out of the timeout pretty quickly. The ATI physical therapy touchdown, and the Rebels go over 40.
And that will likely be John Paul Head's last carry of the night.
I would hope so.
Another and very impressive night for Head. That's 17 carries, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground. He averages 7.5 yards per carry, and just for good measure, he threw in 13 completions for 186 yards and another touchdown.
Another ho-hum 300-yard offensive game. Right?
Just what he does and what he has to do.
And 4 touchdowns. He had how many last week? 5?
5 last week.
Turner comes in, pitches it back to Head. He throws it wide open. It was ugly, but it worked. Ainsworth gets the 2-point conversion.
And that's the type of play you run just to get it on film, just to make sure the other teams that you play in the playoffs have to put a little time in preparing for that, because the more you have to prepare for, the less time you have to prepare for other things. So another 2-point conversion, that takes it up to 44-16, and I think now you will see a number of new bodies and fresh faces coming to the game for Vestavia.
44-16, Vestavia on top with 1:15 to go in this third quarter, and the stand's starting to leak fans on that far side.
Yeah, it was a good crowd to start the night.
It was very good.
On that Helena sideline, it certainly thinned out. They had senior night tonight, a large group. And you forget, Helena's had some nice success, but they've only been a program since 2014. And so still developing and growing as a program, and I think they have a chance to be really good again next year. They'll have to replace Llewellyn at the quarterback spot, but Jordan Washington will be back in the backfield, and that gives you a chance.
So Shirley set to kick off again for the Rebels. 1:15 to go. in the third quarter. Shirley. Hunter Hale at the 5. And he's drugged down about the 22-yard line. Again, Grayson Bruno, Richter there, and several other teammates to drag him down after about a 17-yard return.
Helena is 9th year playing football. Started out in 2014 and 15. They were in 5A. 2016, they jumped up to 6A, and they've been there ever since. They made the playoff both years in 5A. Then in 2019, 20, and 21, they made the playoffs. They won a game in 2020. Their highest single-season wins are 9-2 last year, as well as in 2019. And this year, they're going to fall to 6-4, miss the playoffs. But if you start from scratch, it's a pretty good start.
Really good start. 4 or 5 years out of, what, about 9 years or so?
Yeah, over
Not
50%
bad at all.
of the time in the playoffs.
Vestavia made the playoffs only for the second time since 2015.
From their own 15-yard line.
So, but they are back in where they usually belong and were for, what, 21 out of 22 years under Buddy Anderson there from the mid-90s basically to the early 2000s. There's A.J. Horsted again on the run, and they bottled them up there. But I still see Ross and Wisenhunt and Houston Owen. The first-team defenders are still in there.
And there comes Ross right on cue. Ross comes out of the game. William Bond comes in.
Sykes standing up on this end. He, of course, had a bum knee. Still got that brace on there. Wouldn't mind getting 94 out of there, too, huh?
And just watch the way these guys are running to the ball. Richter makes contact. Spence Hanna in there.
Ben King. Third and 9, Helena from their own 16-yard line.
3rd down and 9. This will be the last play of the third quarter. And that'll be it. We'll go to the break. Helena let the clock run out. The Rebels are on top, 44-16. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. It's an absolute certainty that God has called the church to be the vehicle to minister to orphan and vulnerable children. We provide for the church what the church is not prepared to provide for herself. And Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback coming to Birmingham October 28th through 30th and also next spring April 21st through 23rd.
Start the fourth quarter of play.
44-16, excuse me. Vestavia on top as we begin the fourth quarter. 3rd down and 9. After this play, B.J. Milken, I think, wandered up to the sideline, to the stands or something. Not sure what's going on. He thinks his game's in tow, so he's just wandered up to the stands, and they throw it out there. Another missed tackle. Is that enough for the first down? Torrey Ward with a nice catch, and that's enough for the first down. Let's go up to B.J. Milliken in the Vestavia stands. B.J., what are you doing?
I'm just hanging out with these guys right now. Griff, they've been at every game. They've brought the heat. Guys, I know y'all brought the heat tonight. What about next week in Austin? Is everybody going to come?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Anything for my ribs.
Okay, guys. Is that a consensus? They're going to Austin.
BJ, you need there too. You need to run for office.
Maybe I will.
All right. I guess the students are going to the playoff game.
That's great. They should. It's fun.
They should, because
Haven't
it's been a
Look.
while.
Yeah, look, 2019, 2020. I mean, that's when
Been a
these
while.
guys, if you're a senior, you were a freshman the last time, and you couldn't drive the last time that Vestavia went to the playoffs. This is a big deal.
First and 10, Helena.
And we'll be there. Now, we'll have to air the game 48 hours afterwards, but we'll be there recording it. You can see it on NFHS and on the Vestavia Hills app, which is free. You need to go download that for the App Store. But you'll see it afterwards. But we'll have the taped version on Facebook, One Rebel Athletics, and then on, of course, YouTube like normal. But the High School Athletic Association kind of blocks us from doing what we normally do.
So before we get emails, it's not us. It is the High School Athletic
That's right.
Association that sets that rule. We are following their rules, but we will call the game just like normal and hope you'll check it out after the fact, what is hopefully will be a victory. And you can watch it as you prepare for a second round playoff game.
Again, I'm seeing a lot of normal guys in there. Should I be concerned? There's Houston Owen with a nice tackle on Washington, but I still see a Downey, a Nelson, a Wisenhunt, a Sykes, a Houston Owen.
It's a little surprising. But I
In a
think Coach has
44-16 game?
Yeah, I think Coach has a plan. But, yes, certainly a little surprising at this point in the ball game, fourth quarter. Vestavia has it in hand. Again, I would be shocked if you see the offensive starters come back out.
So 3rd down and 2. And they'll get a first down on that. So another Royal Automotive first down.
And that's the kind of thing you worry about. I don't know if you saw there at the end of the play, but Will Cox, the play is over. He's just kind of walking over, and you saw him get rolled up. I mean, you got this guy just was getting off the pile and fell down and rolled him up. Fortunately, he's okay. But that's the kind of freak kind of play you worry about.
So Spence Hanna has to come in for Cox, the backup safety. Handoff Washington, left side again. Got some big bodies in front of him, but again, Wisenhunt and Richter are there to, but not before he got 4 or 5 over there.
Yeah. Tell you somebody who's played with intensity all night. That's John Martin Richter. I mean, he is flying around the field, playing hard, getting a good push, taking on blocks, making plays. And I will say, you've seen a good – I like the way the guys are playing on this drive. They are playing with very high intensity.
9:52 to go in the fourth quarter. 2nd down and 6 from the 49. Llewellyn, hands off. Horsted, right side. Boy, he got belted down. Looked like he was going to go forever, but Cox came up and hit him pretty hard. And there's Bond coming back out. Ross coming back in.
You just see guys getting whiplash late. It just makes you nervous.
There's a flag down, and looks like Owen was clapping, so I don't know if this goes against the Huskies or not.
Yeah, I think it was a late hit on the pile against Helena.
Good look at Cox and Hanna there. Personal foul against Helena. So that'll mark them back about 15 and make it 2nd at about 21. It should. From the I don't know if that's the right math, but they have it 2nd and 12 from the 42-yard line. So Richter, Ross, some of those big-name seniors, and Ross, of course, a junior, still in there. Boy, it's a good tackle on that far side, and that's Gibson Bean with a good tackle on Hale, who's very dangerous with the football.
Yeah, that was a really strong play, taking on the block and then getting up to make the tackle. Nice job there by Bean, who's flashed a good number of times here tonight.
Bean's getting a lot of playing time right now in this football game. 3rd down and 11. Let's see if we can stop them and get the ball back, put another one on the board, and then start packing it up. 8:43 to go in the fourth quarter. Vestavia on top 44-16. 3rd down and 11.
The official was holding Helena up. I'm not sure. The play clock's down to 3.
And they snap it real quickly. Llewellyn dancing around, picked off. Will Cox with the pick for the Rebels. So Cox gets his first interception of the year. He's got a fumble recovery. Downey hogging all the interceptions with 7, but Cox comes up with a big play.
That was a really odd series of events there. Helena wanted to snap the ball. The official would not allow them to do so. Then they had to rush, snapped it right as the play clock was hitting 0, and then threw a pick.
So Cox with his first interception. Good for him. There's Tonsmeyer again, who had a cramp, and he's back in the game. You just can't get these guys out. You can't drag them out of the game. So Tonsmeyer gets about 6 or 7 over there.
And Luke Turner now in the game at quarterback.
So Head is night's done after 4 touchdowns. Turner, of course, the backup, but he's thrown 60 passes. He's got starter kind of experience, of course, of coach of a son as well. There's movement there by McMurray, so that'll back him up 5.
One thing about bringing in a backup quarterback is the cadence is different. The snaps
is.
are different. It just sounds and feels a little bit different, and so that's what typically you see those types of penalties.
So McMurray jumped a little bit on the cadence difference from Luke Turner, and that'll back the Rebels up 5. 2nd down and 9 from the 47-yard line. Turner hands to Lockhart. Man, he shoots through that hole quickly. Jack gets inside the 40, and Lockhart on the night having a really strong game. And he's got 10 carries for 53 yards. He came into the game averaging 6 yards a carry.
How about that? You average 5.3 on the night and hurt your average.
And you're hurting your average. So 3rd down and 2 from the 40. Huskies showing a little run blitz there. Turner smart enough to not snap it there. Hands it to Lockhart again. He's belted down pretty much at the line of scrimmage, so I don't know where they'll mark that. Looks like it's right on the 40-yard line. I don't think he gained anything.
No, but I think Coach Evans may go for this here. You're in the plus side of the field. Let that clock run down. If you let the play clock go, you could snap it right around 6:15, maybe a little less than that.
No hurry right now, right?
No, run
the
as
game
much
in
clock
hand.
as you can. They'll sit and wait for the play call. I might run the same type of look, but let Turner pull it this time, try to get out on the edge.
4th down and 2. You got Ainsworth and Smitha to the left side strong. And timeout on the field. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
When the on-time service technician arrives in your home, you give us an amazing opportunity. The opportunity to earn your trust, to arrive at your home on time, to fix the problem in your home, and to never sell you something you don't need. When the job is done.
And we're back with Tonsmeyer again, just carrying guys all the way down inside the 20. He looks like he wants to play. I don't know.
Foot cramps. That's a great job. Smitha with a good push.
And brother comes in for him. His night might be done after that, where they're like, let's calm down a little bit there, Chief. That was a great run by Will Tonsmeyer, the sophomore, who's got a bright future for the Rebels. Cross Tonsmeyer in now, number 10, flanking Luke Turner. They hand across. He's very similar, but this time he falls backwards. Good block there by Jimmy Moxley on that right tackle.
2nd and 10, Vestavia. Correction, 2nd and 11, Vestavia.
And I'll tell you this, when the backups go in offensively,
you don't see a lot of penalties, and I mean they're pretty sharp considering they're playing once every 3 or 4 games, possibly, right? A few plays.
That's a credit to this coaching staff for repping things at practice in a way that gets them ready.
Cross Tonsmeyer again. He'll be drug out of bounds. Hard to see with a tent there, again with our vantage point. But not much on that particular run as well. So 3rd down and 11 from the 22. Do you let Turner throw it here to get?
I think they will. Yeah, I think they will. Try to keep this drive alive. They want to let this group try to get some points on the board.
Freelow in motion. And they do. Drop back. Going deep. And
Luke Turner's pass intended for
and it was Daniels out there and just a little off on the timing.
It's all, on that ball, Turner didn't get on top of it. He let that ball go to the side, which he hasn't been out there. It's his first pass of the night. It's a little chilly. It's late in the game. He just didn't get on top of that ball.
Certainly they'll throw now at 4th and 13. So Jaden Daniels out there. He's got a couple of touchdowns this year in a backup role. Brother to Caden, of course. Caden's the one that had the hit on Rush that we saw earlier. I think got banged up a little bit. Now Daniels runs out and Johnson in, so they may be going to the end zone with this one for a little jump up routine. Got a smaller cornerback on him. Let's keep an eye on that on the right side there. Like a last minute adjustment for Franklin. Well, he's not even looking that way. Throws it over the middle, and it was dropped by Ainsworth.
Good ball. Well defended by Helena. Would have been a tough catch, but a ball that Ainsworth potentially could have hauled in, but he didn't, and that gives Helena the ball back with 4 minutes and 23 seconds. But I think Vestavia there did what they needed to do. They moved it down the field. They ate up some clock. I think if they had that play back, they might run it on 3rd down rather than throw it, try to run a little more clock off. But they didn't. And now Helena, if they want to score, would have to go the entire length of the field.
So 1st and 10 for the Huskies, 4:23. The Rebels, 44-16. Llewellyn looking around, and he is dropped right there. Good play by Gaines Johnson, the backup linebacker, who looks a heck of a lot like Mollison to me, but he's obviously on the other side of the football.
Chase Rose in the game at linebacker, along with William Douglas.
Douglas and Bond in there. Cohen Nelson's still in there, the starting starting corner, I should say. Handoff Horsted. Boy, that's a nice play jumping in there. That's Gaines Johnson. Again, also Mitch Taylor running in there.
Taylor gets an opportunity, takes advantage, gets his name on the stat sheet with a nice tackle.
Roman Manners has checked in on the defensive line for the Rebels. Number 53 there with a clean uni. 3rd down and 10. They throw it out to Rush, the big man. He's still running, and he just delivers blows over there. But I tell you what, Kent Vickers came up and didn't back away from him, did he?
And I applaud him for that, because when you've been late in the game, you've been sitting around a little bit, and you got to come in and lay a hit. Jack's Rush is not the guy I want to see coming at you.
And Vickers came in there and got busy with it. Vince Visser's in there at defensive back, flip-flopping over there. For some reason, Cohen's got to stay in there. I don't know if he's in the doghouse or what's going on. Llewellyn dropping back, somehow got out of there. Bond looks like he's limping a little bit, doesn't he? Chasing after
He's got that right
Llewellyn.
ankle. He's got a brace on that right ankle, so I think it's just a residual effect of that.
There's the Rebel band going nuts.
Man, if you're wearing a band uniform, you started the season in August, and it was hot. Tonight is your night.
Yeah.
You got that band uniform, got a little warmth, little chill in the air tonight, great football weather. It's good band uniform weather as well.
246, Llewellyn finds right in the soft spot in the zone. That's Hale. Vicker is
Visser, I should say, is there for the tackle, but they got a little soft spot in the zone and got a first down.
Yeah, good job of wrapping up by Visser.
Close to a
Hale is
first
a guy that could break out of one of those tackles and take it to the house. So good job of wrapping up, bringing him down.
3rd down and 1. Handoff. Horsted breaks inside, still on his feet. A lot of missed tackles. And there's a tackle there by Kent Vickers. But you don't want to give up a touchdown and get a little bad taste going in with 2 minutes to go. There's Jordan Ross, who scored a touchdown tonight. John Paul Head and Bruce Littleton looks like he's hanging out with those older guys. Horsted, right side, trying to find running room, and he's drugged down there. Pretty good tackle by Cohen Nelson, but not before Horsted got 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah, Horsted had Reese Mims out in front leading him. Nice job by the offensive lineman.
From the Vestavia 21-yard line.
Minute 43 to go. B.J. Milliken will have Coach Evans after the game. Handoff. Horsted inside, drugged down at the 11. I think that's Gibson Bean on the tackle.
So that'll pick up the first down, stop the clock while they move the chains.
Horsted's run good for a first down. 1st and 10, Helena from the Vestavia 12-yard line.
1st and 10, Huskies. Handoff Horsted, and he didn't get much there. Gibson Bean was in there. Also Roman Manners.
2nd and 9, Helena from the Vestavia 11-yard line.
Coach Evans still coaching. He was talking about rotations and who's going in where.
2nd down tonight for the Huskies. We're under a minute to go. Llewellyn fires it to his man, and that's a touchdown. A late score for the Huskies as Nathan Wade scores the touchdown. So 44-22. Doesn't look as good on the scoreboard, but Vestavia still with the resounding win by 20, and Robert, again, coaching to a standard.
Yeah, but look here, the goal tonight was, number 1, win the game. Number 2, get out of here with any injuries. And
that happened.
That happened. And they're going to
I didn't
win the
notice
game.
any injuries that can't be
the closest
put some
we
ice
saw
on, right?
to it was Tunsmeyer's cramps.
Yeah.
And he appears to be okay. Helena's going to call a timeout with 48 seconds left in the game and 48 seconds left in their season.
Let's take a break. We'll come back with more. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
We're building on-time service to become Alabama's most trusted company. With air conditioning technicians, plumbers, electricians, and appliance repairmen you can trust. Technicians who won't try to sell you things you don't need, who are honest in figuring out the problem and repairing it, and are backed by the on-time service satisfaction guarantee. You can trust the on-time service technician to do the right thing.
You have to pay taxes. Ugh. It's just part of life. In the great state of Alabama, we have an awesome thing in our tax code called the Alabama Accountability Act, which allows you to redirect up to 100% of your state taxes to Scholarship for Kids, a scholarship granting organization that benefits partner schools.
Number 11, Mason Johnson on the carry.
And there's the two-point conversion for the Huskies. Taking a look at them scoring. 44-24, so a 20-point deficit. That'll still look pretty good. What'll look even better is 6 wins on the year and guaranteeing a winning season for Robert Evans in his first year. And that's hard to do.
Winning season in his first year, going to the playoffs in his first year, and after Vestavia had back-to-back 4 and 6 seasons. First time to make the playoffs since 2019, and generally everything trending up. And what's going to happen now from a playoff standpoint is Vestavia is going to go to Austin to play. And the way it works is the number 1 team out of Region 4 plays the number 4 team out of Region 3. 2 plays 3, 2 plays 3, and then 1 plays 4. And so the top 4 teams out of that Region 4 are Austin, Florence, Bob Jones, and Huntsville.
And believe it or not, with Austin 1 and Hoover 4, Vestavia Hills 4, we actually, if they put odds on this game, would be favored, even on the road. Is that fair to say? Not putting the onus on, it's just saying what we know.
Right.
You're afraid to say. You're going to leave me out there by myself. Look at the run by Cross Tonsmeyer. Down the sidelines all the way to the 25-yard line. So he got a little fun tonight.
Great return by Cross Tonsmeyer. We'll watch the replay. I'm surprised they didn't try an onside kick. I mean, they called a timeout for the 2-point conversion. But anyway, they kick it down the field. Tonsmeyer, a little bit of bobble there, and they just get north and south. Great run, following your blockers. Good acceleration. That kid's a freshman. Got a lot of high school football ahead of him.
Yeah.
If you go by previous years, last year in the playoffs, James Clemens was number 1 out of Region 4. Oak Mountain was number 3 as Luke Turner takes a knee. Oak Mountain won that game, the 1 versus 4. Oak Mountain won 38-35. Went up and won. The other 4 games.
On the road, by the way.
On the road. Region 3 won all of them. Last year, Thompson beat Florence 49-10. Hoover beat Sparkman 56-14. And Hewitt-Trussville beat Bob Jones 42-20. So if history holds, yes, absolutely. Can a 4 seed out of Region 3 go beat a 1 out of Region 4? Yes, they can.
And Robert Evans, Richie Busby, greeting there, or looking for him over there on the sidelines. Vestavia wins it 44-24 tonight. So a nice 20-point win, and the Rebels guarantee themselves a winning record. So that's pretty important and good to see. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll have Robert Evans after the break. We appreciate you watching. The Vestavia Hills guarantees themselves the winning season, 44-24 with the playoffs next week. Stay with us. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Lifeline's ministry is necessary because God has ultimately called the body of Christ to manifest the gospel to vulnerable children. It's an absolute certainty that God has called the church to be the vehicle to minister to orphan and vulnerable children. We provide for the church what the church is not prepared to provide for herself. And Lifeline, in its role, comes alongside the church with that very narrow specialization.
Renew and refresh. JH Outback focuses on strengthening family bonds with spouses, parents, and children to help in spiritual growth and life purpose. Join us for a fun-filled weekend together in an undistracted environment, enjoying the outdoors with great food, entertainment, and live music. JH Outback, coming to Birmingham October 28th through 30th, and also next spring, April 21st through 23rd.
And there's a look at the victorious Rebels, 6-4 on the year. Started 1-3, right? Am I got that?
That's correct.
Math correct. 1-3, and they finish 5-1 as the Rebels ensure themselves a winning season and the playoffs for the Vestavia Hills Ball Club. It's going to be fun next week from Austin.
This is an Austin team that's in their 13th season under head coach Jeremy Perkins. They started the season 0-2.
All right, so let's go to B.J. Middleton. Sorry about that, Chad. And and he's got Robert Evans there.
Well, Coach, last night we talked about getting out of this one clean with a win. Do you feel like you accomplished both of those?
We had some bumps and bruises, but nobody serious, and that was the main objective, get the win. Wasn't how we want to play. I mean, obviously we want to dominate the game. We didn't dominate the game. I thought offensively we certainly had our moments, but we played too soft in the first half, and we played much better in the second half. They scored once and they scored late, but I thought we made some good adjustments, and ultimately, I mean, it's just it's a hard in the human nature of just coming out with into a meaningless game to play football. It's hard to do that. But credit to Helena, they had a good plan and they have good players. Both those backs are really good players, but I was proud of our guys for putting the game away and getting out clean and getting on to the playoffs.
The stakes go way up next week. What's this week look like for you guys?
Well, obviously the extra day helps us because we've already, we worked on Austin this week, and it probably showed some in this game. But that's what you do this time of year. You work on the meaningful games, and it's a do or die. I love these games, love being in these environments. This was kind of a playoff-like atmosphere. I thought Helena had a good crowd tonight for their senior night, but Austin is a good team. I'm sure they were here tonight, and I'm sure they're watching the tape saying we can run all these guys. So we got to get a lot of things fixed defensively. Some of it's personnel, some of it's schematics, and some of it's just us not making tackles when we had a chance to make tackles. That's what I just told the guys. The physicality on both sides has to go up. It's just the way that's the way the playoff football is. Our program is designed our offense, pace and power, perimeter and play action for cold weather, windy weather. We'll travel wherever. But I'm excited to take our program on the road and up to Huntsville and hopefully put on a good showing for the people up in Austin.
Very good. We'll see you there, Coach.
Yep, looking forward to it. Thanks.
All right, that is Robert Evans, and mincing no words about the defensive effort tonight, which had some moments, but consistently not what he would like to have seen.
No, he wants to see him play a little better because you're playing an Austin team who went 7-3 this season. They went 6-1 in their region. They started out 0-2. They lost their first two games to Hartselle and Decatur. Then they rolled off 7 in a row, and then they lost their last game to Huntsville.
Yep.
38-24 the last game of the season. They're averaging 26.7 points per game. They're giving up 23.2 points per game, so don't jump off the page statistically. Coach Jeremy Perkins, who we mentioned, was here tonight watching this game. Coach Evans was correct on that. He's in his 13th season. He was at Hoover High School before that, before he took the job at Austin. And when you look, they made the playoffs from 2015 to 2020. The last time they won a playoff game was in 2017, and they did not make the playoffs last year as they went 4-6.
All right, we will take a break. We'll come back with some final numbers and wrap it up here from Huskies Stadium. The final, Vestavia on top, 44-24. You're watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
I want on-time service to be the home service company you can always trust. That involves every process and every person in our business, starting with me. It means you trust our technician to arrive at your home on time. You trust us to give you the cost of the job in writing before the work begins. And you trust us to fix what's broken. You've given us the opportunity to earn your trust. We could never ask for more than that.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes. That'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Alabama. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Dr. Melanie Petro has a simple philosophy.
I love to see them look in the mirror and see themselves several years ago. It reconnects them with who they are.
Dr. Petro is double board certified and fellowship trained to help you see you again.
When you see yourself again, all of a sudden you're not just reconnected with your face, you're reconnected with yourself, and it gives you a confidence.
We start each day at Birmingham Fastener with the same core values in mind: integrity, grit, and accountability. We're looking for talented people to join our sales and manufacturing teams. As one of the nation's leading manufacturers, we have over 10 locations across the country and endless opportunities to grow and succeed alongside incredible teammates. Become the future of American manufacturing and help build our nation's infrastructure one bolt at a time here at Birmingham Fastener.
Welcome back to the Rebel Nation Sports Network. As you see the stands start to empty out, some of the players milling around, and the Rebels with a winning record of 6-4 in Robert Evans' very first year on the hills of Vestavia. Let's take a look at some of the final numbers that we go over. The first downs were a little bit closer than we thought, and the rushing, we had an advantage at the half, but the Huskies come back.
Yeah, they really got a good number of their yards late in the game. Got all the way up to 387 yards total offense. Vestavia comes in at 444. I think this game played out exactly like you kind of imagined it. Vestavia came out, did what they needed to do early, got a nice lead, relaxed a little bit, let them back into it a little bit. Then they scored one late against kind of some backups. But all in all, the two goals were win the game, stay healthy. Vestavia accomplished both of those goals. Now they move on, and the fun starts next week. It's officially win or go home next week, and Vestavia feels like they're in a really good spot to have a good game on the road against Austin. And then if you win, you will likely face Thompson in the second round with the way that the bracket falls. But it is a great opportunity for these Vestavia Hills Rebels, these seniors, and a lot of people excited, including that young man, to watch them play.
John Paul Head, 13 out of 20, 186 yards, and a touchdown throwing. Luke Turner 0 for 2. Head was 17 carries, 128 yards for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. So 2 straight games. He's had 9 touchdowns in the last 2 games and a lot of yards. Lockhart 11 for 59 and a touchdown. Tonsmeyer came in and ran hard. 10 carries for 75 yards as well. Keon Richardson, 3 catches, 28 yards. Brady Johnson had a couple of catches for 88 yards. And Cooper Mollison, a couple of catches for 28 yards to lead the Rebels. So we appreciate the football season. We still got some more football coming up. We appreciate you watching the first 10 games of this endeavor here. And I want to say thanks to our incredible crew who make it easy on Chad and BJ and myself, John Rocket, on the direction of the games. John Versiglio helping direct some games too. Did last week's game and the instant replay and the overall setup. Everybody valuable here on this crew. Fletcher Tubbs on the sideline camera does a great job. Randy Mize on the play-by-play camera. Cruz Johnson on the color camera. Stephen Gill giving us the numbers. Roger Jackson up there being his eyes. And it takes a heck of a lot of guys to make this come across, and we can't do without any of them, and we appreciate their help for the year. So we will do this again. Now, remember, next week, the Alabama High School Athletic Association does not let you do it live. So we will have it live on NFHS, which you have to be a member of, and some people are, and it'll be on the Vestavia Hills app via NFHS, right, JV? And that's what she told us. So we will have the game on tape delay, Chad, 48 hours approximately after the game. So you can watch it after the fact, but you'll just need to keep up on the NFHS if you want to do it that way. It's out of our control. It's an Alabama High School Athletic Association deal. Now, you're a lawyer. In case you get something done this week, we could possibly – no, but they've done this all year, and it's the playoffs. That's their deal, and it's out of our control. Basically, is what I'm saying.
It's just the rule, and I would encourage you, if you're a Vestavia fan and you're able, head up to Decatur, go watch these kids play in person. If not, you can consider a subscription to NFHS, and if you can't do that, hopefully the Rebels pull it out, and then you can watch it 48 hours after and watch all the highlights and everything that happened.
All right, we appreciate everybody's help. We thank you for watching tonight and for the year. We'll keep it going as long as we stay alive in the playoffs. For the entire great crew and a great year, the Rebels winning again, 44-24 with a winning record in Robert Evans' first year. We appreciate you watching the Rebel Nation Sports Network.
Murray Bob's in the game too, Jack. Football game. Come on, Vestavia. More touchdowns!
1971. Vestavia Hills football is born as a community-focused program. This marks the 52nd season of Vestavia football, and the focus has not changed. We represent those who laid the foundation and look to honor those who helped build the program. Now, for the first time in school history, a former Rebel leads the way, embracing the tradition and toughness that is ingrained in its culture, while also bringing a modern approach to steer Vestavia Hills to the next level. The goals? Use the life lessons of football to lead these players from the field to adulthood. Show up early, get to work, and do it all again the next day. Play meaningful football in November, then December. No matter how long the journey, we will get there. This is Vestavia Hills Rebel football.